Have you with us again? It's pretty chilly, isn't it?
It is, Bruce. I've got the long johns on and a strong easterly breeze, but shouldn't be any advantage for either side. It looks like a good day for footy.
Let's see how it unfolds. The Kangaroos about as short as you can get in terms of favouritism, but Port Adelaide with a lot to play for here. They've taken a drubbing in the press back home. Lyle gets it and goes to full forward. A couple of early goals are doing the world of good. Archer at full forward. He's got the job on Corns. Kicks the ball out to half back. Bond did a very good job there to get there, and then Burgoyne about 65 metres from goal, centering kick to centre half forward. Primus has a second crack. Martin over the top. Primus gets back. Treadray hooks it back to the goals, but Pickett's on the last line of defence and takes the mark.
He does that very well, Pickett, just peeling off his man. Young Scott Bassett, is it? 41. He's got a huge job on Corey McKernan, too, at the other end of the ground.
Good shepherding by Harvey there on Wilson, and Abraham's had 4 bounces and may go a 5th bounce. He's taken this ball from the half-back flank. He still has the energy to kick it to full forward. There's a big fly coming in from Capuano. Burton was in the front spot. And now Nick Stevens, who's playing his 50th game today as a 20-year-old, well done to him. Gets it back, but he's kicked that out on the fall. Got it back from Francis, so it'll be McKernan to bang it in.
First game of Plugger, or second game I think for Bassett, is it, Bruce? He's playing on Corey McKernan, so that's a pretty tough job.
Certainly is, isn't it? And the experience will do him the world of good, I'd presume.
King bangs it into full forward. Carey getting involved. Still with Carey. The handball back to Simpson, about 45 metres from goal. And Carr's marked it. These two teams playing in a final last year, which seems a long time ago now for Port Power, that's for sure. Port Adelaide, Carey making the difference. Yes, Bassett was picked in a match last year. He didn't get a run. There's the interchange for Port at the moment. Poulton, Schofield, Lockwood and Guerra getting his first game today. I think he turns 18 today, Guerra. Carey turned 29 yesterday for the Kangaroos, but this is Bassett's actually first run. He sat on the interchange all day last year in that match. Quick kick away, Bishop to half-back boundary throw in. Well, they are the overwhelming favourites, there's no doubt about that. We can't, for the Kangaroos to be beaten today would be the biggest upset in probably 5 years of footy, but Port can have a real crack here with nothing to lose, can't they?
Look, there's certainly a chance, and obviously, as in any game, yes, the midfield matchups are important. As we see Johnny Blakey take the mark, and he's on Wilson, so that's a good matchup. Franco's another key player for Port Power if he can get hold of the football. Good contest by Mead in the front. Bell's handball. Now Carey's got Clayton on there. Clayton now comes to the contest. Bond and Mead towards the line. Clayton zip and shoulder, a good one. Burgoyne gets it back. Kingsley stops and props. I think Bond's hurt himself at centre wing, and Harvey held on to, was he, and gets a free kick. There's Bond, and he looks to be in a bit of trouble. Winded perhaps. Harvey banging back into centre half forward, and Colbert's got it. Floating in that ball. And Bond's in a bit of strife, isn't he? He's still down, whether it's a rib or he doesn't appear to be holding a leg or anything like that. Possibly a hip or something, so he doesn't look too flash. It looks like they might be calling for the stretcher, so hopefully for his sake and Port it's not as bad as perhaps what it looks.
First game back last week, so that'll be a real shame. He's battled with injury now. Colbert, 50 metres out now, 48. And I think he might have missed. And the stretcher is on its way out to take Bond from the field, so that's really bad luck for him and for the Power.
It looks like the Kangaroos are really trying to stretch Port down back too, aren't they? They've started with a pretty big forward line. You've got Capuano up there, you've got Colbert up there, you've got Carey, you've got McKernan. And I've also noticed that Matthew Spider Burton is also pushing forward as well, Plugger, so it's a pretty high marking forward line as we see the stretcher going out, but it is pretty swirly down there too, so that'll probably have an effect on the forward. So perhaps a big forward line couldn't possibly not be the way to go with the swirly conditions.
Yeah, certainly. I was down there for the junior clinic before the game, and the conditions are very, very windy down there, and you would think that the ball is going to spend just as much time on the ground as it will in the air today, so it's a big opportunity for the Crummers.
So Shane Bond, he looks like he's getting some recovery back, and doesn't he? He looks like he's focusing a bit now.
I think the way the doctor was looking at him, Bruce, I think it is a knee.
Let's have a look, Plugger. He's
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that doesn't look too good.
Left knee.
Well, that's shocking luck for him and the club. They've had a bad run with injuries. Wanganeen, their star, hasn't played for 7 weeks, and they've had a lot of other injuries, and they've just got Bond back, and I saw the game last week against the Saints, and I thought he played really well in his first game back. Premiership player with West Coast.
I think the key, Bruce, to any team now, probably apart from maybe Essendon, is you do need your majority of best players running around the field, and we've seen it is such an even competition, and you just, whilst coaches really play it down, you know, you've got to recover from injuries, then it looks like a bump on the knee there, doesn't it, as he's coming off the ground. That's an interesting little picture there.
Just below the knee.
Just below the knee, isn't it? But maybe, and that might be a good sign from the fact that maybe just a really bad bruise, but it certainly does look like a contusion. Thanks, Dr. Plugger. But I think it is a key factor, isn't it? You really need your best players running around, and as I said, coaches tend to play that down and say, oh, we've got to recover from injuries, but there's not too many teams that can do it, and when you're struggling like Port Power are, you can ill afford to lose good players.
Yeah, well, he is a really good player, and if Port Adelaide didn't have their work cut out for him before that, well, they certainly have now.
Mark Williams has had a tough old year in Adelaide. What a great player he was over the years. Port Adelaide and then Collingwood, captain and Copeland medalist, and then to Brisbane and then back to Port to finish off. But Shane Bond, there's a lot of ex-West Coast and Fremantle players out here today, a lot of ex-West Coasties with the power, and Dennis Pagan has been so successful with ex-Fremantle players, hasn't he? We've got 3 of them there today, Abraham, Bell and Burton.
There's no question a change of clubs too can often bring out the best in a player. They tend to get complacent sometimes at a club for too long.
So Francis to himself, and then he's a long kick normally. He gets that ball right to half-back. Carey's taken a good mark. Just nonchalant, wasn't it? He took that as if it was a training drill with no one on him. Then bangs it back in. That wind is playing a bit of havoc. That's a poor kick by Carey, and Carr's marked it. It's been pretty impressive, Carr. He's running out of ideas here, and the handball's shabby to Poulton near the line. Poulton's come on for Bond, and a boundary throw in.
He just didn't have anywhere to go there. It's interesting just watching out on the field. 36 players basically between the Kangaroos 50-metre line and the Port Power 50-metre line. Very, very congested at the moment.
It's going to be a difficult day with that breeze, isn't it? Capuano won the toss, the hit out I should say, the toss in, and Stevens pushing forward again. Tony, it must be one of the toughest days as a high marking forward a day like today.
I think it's tough on anyone who relies on their marking, you know, especially when it, as here at the SCG, it does get very swirly. It's hard to pick exactly which way the ball's going to come. So that's why I just think the Crummers would want to be on their toes today, because it's going to spend a lot of time on the deck.
Lyle's kick forward, then it comes back. Montgomery to Lyle. Harvey, did Lyle get it away? He did in the end. Bouncing ball, Francis comes back to Spider Burton, up and under, but getting a bit of distance. The breeze taking it, about 8 players there, and Harvey runs in and misses. He'll be disappointed. Now, what about Shane Bond, Nick?
Yeah, not good news, Bruce. The Port Adelaide doctor says a very bad knee injury. The mood is not good on the bench down here, so they're fearing the worst at this stage.
Oh, that is rotten luck, isn't it? Probably got just a bit too cute, Harvey, then, didn't he? Didn't need to probably check-sided in the end, did he?
Yeah, look, that's a very bad miss, but there's a good illustration of the way the Kangaroos will play. Even though it's windy, they'll continue to bomb it up long to their big marking forwards with Harvey and Bell and Simpson and the likes of those fellas just hitting the bottom of the packs and trying to get those easy goals.
Lyle at half-back. His last couple of seasons have flattened out a bit. He was very good when he first came. That's a good switch to Montgomery, and had a fair bit to say this week about team needing to lift. Treadray's attack was good, and then he actually rode the bunt very well. Poulton probably had to kick it on his left. Martin's hands were quick. Well done, Wilson. Abraham decided to take him on, and Wilson took him on too. Treadray's little kick to centre wing. Stevens, handball over the top. Makepeace held him up, and then Stevens rides a hip and shoulder, and I reckon that's a good decision. A ball up.
Yeah, great contest down there. Just on young Jared Poulton, who we saw up here several weeks ago. Good young player, but probably just thought he had more time than he did, and just really needed to go around the left foot there from that handball from Treadray.
Wilson, quick kick to half forward. Primus running away, and a boundary throw in. Without putting too much of a damper on the crowd, we knew it to be small. Both of you players, like I say, these did play in front of small crowds. Does it make any difference at all?
Oh, I guess it does, Bruce. I mean, there's no better feeling as a footballer to be out there playing amongst a capacity crowd. And at the SCG, I think once in '96 against Geelong, Rosie, we played in front of about 44,000 people. So I just think it just makes the whole day something special.
Well, I preferred to play at Football Park in front of 45,000 hostile fans than I did in front of 8,000 parochial fans. So I think it does make a big difference.
So the Kangaroos from the back line. Certainly the players will hear their own voices today, that's for sure.
And Johnny Blakey hasn't been a fantastic player, ex-teammate of mine, just keeps on going. And the way he's playing this year, there's no reason why he couldn't go on at least another year and probably another 2 years. Very much like Craig Bradley, a great athlete, very fit, keeps himself in terrific condition, Johnny Blakey, and he's really an ornament to the game. And who would have thought when he left Fitzroy that he'd go on and play in 2 premierships, play over 300 games, and just continues to be an outstanding player for the Kangaroos.
There's a blue on here, Pike, and there's a blue on here, and I think there's a free kick going to Port Adelaide. It's going to be reversed against Martin Pike, who fell for, I think, a trap there. Silly stuff. So we go from Blakey about to have a kick in the back pocket to Wilson about to have a shot for goal. Jason McCartney just having a word to Martin Pike and really simmering him down a bit. Gee, he's going to come off the ground, obviously. Well, this is a good break for Port. Now let's see if Wilson can make it count. He's missed it.
I guess the kicking for goal too, Plugger's got to be affected from the wind also.
There's
Steve Paxman.
Gee, we missed that.
Yeah, it obviously is. I mean, conditions not really good for goal kicking today. Just the basics really come into fore today. Keep your head over the ball and kick through it. Make sure you kick solid.
Blakey to Simpson, good long kick to half forward. Strong attack there from Colbert, and he's going to be paid over the shoulder.
Yeah, well done by Lee Colbert. Had an indifferent season, but he certainly attacked his first 2 attempts at marking very, very positively today.
Short to King. Indifferent only because Roosie hasn't played any footy. I mean, his first match against Geelong was good. Kicked goals and...
Yeah, I guess the disappointing thing, probably the worst thing you want to happen when you come to a new club is an injury, because it's very hard. You're changing environments and you want to get right onto the front foot early.
Remember that goal David King kicked against the Swans a few weeks back? Boy, wasn't that the team lifter. It was the difference. And I'm not sure whether he intended all of that, but Bassett got it to Poulton, and that kick's just gone too far for Franco, and running out with Pickett. So boundary throw in at half forward left for the Kangaroos.
King actually had Peter Bell loose in the pocket there. It probably would have been a better option. Very tough kick here today with the wind the way it was, and just watching Bell coming back after he was ignored. I don't think he was too happy about it, Rosie.
No, he certainly was by himself, and King's a noted goal kicker, but wouldn't give it off on that occasion.
Makepeace to fall forward. Colbert worked underneath it by Poulton. Still Poulton. He refuses to panic. Little kick in short to Primus. So neither side has kicked a goal. I reckon Kangaroos such a free-flowing team. It wouldn't have happened to them too often this season that there'd be no goals after 12-13 minutes. Grant off the ground. It's been a patchy little start to this match, hasn't it? Very hard to get anything flowing. Franco, little chip kick. Can Burgoyne get onto it? He's got it.
It just seems to be so many players around the ball, Bruce. I think that's the problem at the moment. As I said earlier on, they're all bunched between either team's 50. There's about 30 players, all basically going through the middle of the ground. So it's very hard to get any free throwing. As we've seen a number of players, particularly from Port down back, looking for options, but there's just so many players that there's nowhere to kick it at this stage.
I know it's early in the game, but North Melbourne, or the Kangaroos, just don't seem to be quite as intense as they can be, especially when they're playing another opposition club that may be a little higher on the ladder.
Burgoyne's kick, that's not bad. Coming back, it's a great kick, it's a goal. Beautiful kick in the end. He really read that well, didn't he?
Yeah, look, that's a good point, Plugger. I think they do seem a little bit slow out of the blocks, the Kangaroos today, and full credit to Port Power. They look to be putting a lot of pressure on, a lot of man-on-man contests, and well picked up there off the ground too, on the left foot. It was good to see too, he summed up his options there as he got the football. He looked left and looked right, and then made a very good decision kicking left foot to Burgoyne, who kicks their opening goal.
Burgoyne's goal, Nick Paxman.
Stephen Paxman just coming back onto the ground with the Rick McCosker headdress. He's just had a bit of a cut in his head fixed up. I think it looks a whole lot worse than it really is.
He's going down back. So Burton getting over the top. So Port Adelaide in front with a Burgoyne goal. And Bassett It's a good grab from the front. Nathan Bassett, his brothers, been in good nick for the Crows. That's a shocking kick. Clayton. It's the one thing that Port can't do today is turn it over when they're not under pressure. It'll catch up with them against the Kangaroos, and then they're forced to give a free kick away to Clayton.
Carey's all by himself there.
Because Mead was doing the tackling, wasn't he? As the kick to centre half forward, Nick Stevens back to Franco. He's busy. He had a quietish game against the Saints last week. It's a good kick to Montgomery, who turns his man inside out and comes away from half-back. Short kick to centre wing, and again a turnover. Blakey just read it a little bit better than Wilson, then brings the ball back into the centre to McKernan. McKernan's away with a bounce, and then loads up with a long kick to full forward. Bells at the back, gives his opponent a little bit of a shove, and it rolls through for a behind. Just thinking then, there's a lot of players we haven't seen. Shannon Grant had a kick off the ground a moment ago. Corey McKernan, we've been playing 15 minutes and half of the blokes out there we haven't really spotted, have we?
Yeah, I was just getting back to what we said before, Bruce. We're just, North Melbourne just very slow out of the blocks today. They are kicking with a bruise there, and we have seen from past performances, normally the Kangaroos really do come out hard with all guns firing, but today they just seem a little bit flat.
Well done to Port. They're doing if there's a spoiling role they have to do today, they're managing it pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, it looks to me that Port have come with a plan of really manning up and making it as difficult for the Kangaroos as possible, as they should as a team, you know, that's really struggling at the moment. Just get back to the basics, man-on-man football.
Lyle from Francis takes Bell on a bit and then keeps it low and tries to get it long. Burgoyne started well. He kicked 5 when they beat Brisbane. He is a very important player to them. Probably could have gone on to James, and then the kick into the centre. Good take by Bishop. Gee, that's confident. A bounce, and then he runs too close to Archer. That was the danger. And now the Kangaroos with a chance. Clayton held up in the end. Pickett gets it back. Wild old handball a bit, and then McKernan sweeps one wide, and Blakey couldn't quite make it. Port with a chance here. I tell you what, a second goal would be handy. Trent Bray hooks it back, but that was poor play by Carr. He's belted his opponent in the shepherd, and Blakey's going to get a free kick.
He started off this game very well, John Blakey. Just getting back to Bishop, though, he didn't need to bounce it. Like, he hadn't really run 10 metres. He bounced it after about 3 metres, and some players have a bad habit of getting the football, and instead of running their full distance and kicking it, they want to bounce it after 3 or 4 steps, and really in that case cost him a legitimate shot at goal.
It was Wilson, not Carr, that did the shepherd. McCartney's kick into the centre. Makepeace, who's been very good, kicks to full forward, right over the back. Paxman, Capuano to chase. Paxman's got Mead nice and short. Yeah, that was cute and well done. Mead could go on here, nobody on him. He's got Bishop on his own in the centre, decides to go to the line and finds Kingsley. Kingsley with some time, very short to Francis. Thinking aloud, wouldn't Wanganeen be handy today in the back pocket on a day like today?
Yeah, this is just made for the crumbing type players where it's very swirling breeze.
Francis over the top. McKernan, handball back. Kangaroos with numbers. McCartney gets it to Blakey. Unloads with a long kick to half forward. Colbert, well done. Held it, not paid. Carey's handball to half forward again. Taken by Bishop. Gets rid of it. Good umpiring. Gave him a bit of time. Stevens under the hammer. Did well. Gets it back to Poulton. And Port are growing in a bit of confidence here at the moment. To Kingsley. A bounce. Kingsley's kick to half forward. Free kick to Port. Surely there against McKernan.
It's interesting with the ruck contest. Primus is playing on Burton and McKernan's playing a kick behind.
Free kick to Corns against Martin. Go on, Rizzy.
Yeah, sorry. There's a matchup. Capuano's going with Primus, the 2 legitimate ruckmen, yet you've still got McKernan playing as a sort of kick behind ruckman, so you've probably got 4 ruckmen going at the moment.
It's not a bad kick by Corns. I think he's kicked it from the pocket. Chad Corns, a goal. Well, this is what the match needed, didn't it? We needed Port to come out with a plan and some purpose and some belief, and I think they're getting it.
Yeah, it's interesting there. I'd like to see that replay, but Mickey Martin certainly wasn't very happy with that free kick. But Chad Corns has shown this year he is a lively forward. He's kicked 10 goals so far. That's his 11th goal for the year, and that's a fantastic finish from that pocket, particularly in the breeze. So well done by Port Power. 2 goals early in this game.
Pluggett, you would have been proud of that one from the pocket.
Well, mate, it was nearly an impossible angle, actually, because the wind is actually blowing straight through them goalposts down to the other end. And for him to do that, well, it's just a fantastic kick, and I'm sure everyone connected with Port Adelaide are very happy about that.
Well, it's what this match needed, isn't it? A good start by Port and some real belief in themselves. Stevens has been very good early to Wilson. They could put a couple more goals on the board here at the moment. They're on top. Wilson bangs to full forward. Where are the Crummers? High bouncing ball. Cords did well. Burgoyne's got a second. Porter got a third.
Well, Port have obviously come here to play footy today, and they may have just caught North Melbourne on the hop, I think.
I think he hit the post. Yeah, sorry. The goal umpire, I don't know how we missed that, Bruce. I was with you. I thought that was a certain goal, but if we watch it here, good body work, great tap down by Chad Corns, who started. And how do you miss that?
Well, he kicked it too hard in the end, didn't he? As the Kangaroos go forward. Well, what a chance missed there. James's handball to Poulton. To Mead. That's a pretty good kick to Primus.
Mead started off this game very well. I noticed in the one-on-ones with Carey, he's giving himself 2 or 3 metres and not allowing Carey to body up on him. Because as soon as Carey gets a body on you, it is very, very difficult because he's so strong.
Notice the Capuano gone off earlier too. That probably Dennis Pagan working on the balance. Francis gets it from Poulton. They've got a couple wide here. He's a long kick, Francis, and he's gone to Paxman, who does have a panic here. He can take his time. Carey will bear down on him now. He did take his time, Paxman, and then kicks wide, and it finds his man out there in Montgomery. They've gone very wide to achieve all of this, but at least they've got possession. Montgomery up and under. This is going to be a hard ball. Treadrate never got into the act. And that's a waste, isn't it, for Port?
Yeah, there's just too many Kangaroos players down there. 3 Kangaroos players going against Treadrate. Treadrate had no hope in that case.
There was no one forward of the centre when Abraham took that ball. Well, gee, obviously James got unsighted by the sun. Grant got rid of him with a little shove. Makepeace back to Abraham. Gone. Good tackle from Francis. Grant in with a handball. Gets it across to Motlop. Good kick. He controlled that beautifully under pressure and finds Clayton. And then Clayton goes to full forward. Carey's going to be the target. Mead front spot. Carey had a bit of his jumper. No payment. Carey in the pocket. Left foot. That's a clever kick. I think it's a goal. The King has scored from the pocket. Yeah, well, compare that to Burgoyne at the other end. I think the degree of difficulty was slightly more, don't you?
Well, that's why he's the king, Plugger.
Well, amazing, isn't it? Just a daft little left footer here, as you can see on the replay. Gathers it up and just throws it on. And have a look at this. Shane Warne would have been happy with the movement in that, wouldn't he?
And it showed you the difference, Bruce. You called Burgoyne kicked his too hard, whereas Carey just really finessed that and didn't over-kick the football.
Well, the Kangaroos needed it, didn't they? That might spark them a bit, but Port 2-2 to 1-3. As I said, what a contrast. Burgoyne missing from 10 metres out with nobody in front of him, and then Carey producing some magic at the other end. Port's midfield has been busy. It's where the game's going to be decided, isn't it? If the Francos of this world can match the Bells and the Harveys.
Yeah, well, certainly Bell, Simpson and Harvey have been... Bell's averaging over 27 possessions, Harvey 24 and Simpson 22, and Carey's 22 also. And the only one to really figure highly for Port Power is Josh Franco, who's averaging just under 22. So there's a big workload on that young fella.
Primus underneath it, 14-9, Nick McArdle.
Bruce, I've just noticed that they've got at the moment Spider Burton and Matthew Capuano sitting on the bench. Corey McKernan just went back on for Spider Burton, so they obviously feel like they're playing a bit tall at the moment. They've got 2 talls on the bench.
Yes, and Grant and Makepeace have both gone forward just to get that balance, haven't they? Pickett's handball, a good one to King. King's left foot to the pocket. Contest at the back by Paxman was pretty good. Colbert trying to get it out, and he's been pinged.
I think just on that too, if you look at the day and you say, well, blue skies, a lovely day, but until you actually get out in the field, it's very hard for marking players when it's windy conditions, and Dennis has obviously gone in with a plan. Will exploit the weakness, the short defensive of Port Power, but it is very windy, so the ball's going to spend a lot of time on the ground.
Bassett to centre wing, Primus and McKernan. Primus free kick, McKernan did have hold of him. Handball, not sure it's a great option, but they're okay. Montgomery's been busy early. That one just too far, and when you come across and you miss your target, you're in trouble. Though Blakey's held up for the moment. Pickett Port's tackling's been impressive early. Harvey with pace and finds some space and then belts to Shannon Grant. Good contest from Burgoyne at the back. Ball to be bounced. The ball today's going to run away a lot, isn't it? And run away pretty quickly. High tackle there and a free kick to Harvey, who has been an absolutely outstanding player over the last couple of years. And kicks to Carey. Well done, Burgoyne. That was a good mark in the front, wasn't it?
If you're playing on Carey, that's what you want your half-back flankers and your back pockets to do. You've got to play behind Wayne Carey and just hope that your teammates can fill in the hole in front of him. And Burgoyne did that beautifully on that occasion. And then Montgomery gets it to Primus, and Stevens makes it between centre wing and half forward. Now going on to Primus, so the big fellas work really hard here. Pickett on the mark.
This is the important one. He's got to be able to find a target from here.
Paxman's leading. He's going to go to Paxman, and he's got him, I reckon, in the pocket. Well done.
Well, what's the chances of another banana kick from here, boys?
Pretty big, I think, Plugger, don't you?
He's a full-back, Plugger, so although Steve Paxman can kick a goal, he's played a little bit up forward with Fitzroy, but that's great running from the full-back. When you see your full-back running down the field, you know that the team's on song, and I guess he must be some chance.
Well, he's going to try the drop punt. He keeps it low, and it's a behind. You must have loved that, Plugger, when those full-backs went down to full forward. You used to chase them till about halfway, didn't you?
Oh, a bit further than that, Bruce.
I know,
give me some credit.
I'm having a go. It's just
Halfway down the goal square, Bruce, that's all. And then he'd yell out, "Can someone pick him up, please?"
And they did. And they did, yeah. Blakey's kicked the centre wing. Simpson, good effort. Montgomery, as I said, busy early to Lyle, to Montgomery. Needs a quick hand or a quick foot. Did well. Francis' handball was clever enough. Well done by James to turn them inside out. The kick to, I guess, the space in the end, hoping that the Treadray could run onto a boundary throw in.
That's really where he had to find someone, wasn't it? It was either have a shot at goal, which, you know, he's probably in range to do, or he had to find a target, not just kick it to no man's land and cause it to go to bounce there.
Right forward pocket, Burton and Primus. Primus getting a fair bit of it early, and then looks for a free kick here. You have to get it out. It's tucked underneath him, ball up again.
They have been very good, Port Power. Their tackling's been excellent. Mentioned Montgomery. He's certainly started this game in fine fashion. And just looking now, he looks like he's a loose man. He hasn't really got an opponent. And Jason McCartney's loose on the other side of the ground.
Burton and Primus. No free kicks. Wilson underneath. James gets it back from Kingsley into centre half forward. Pickett made a mistake. Carr's handball was clever. Polton can kick a goal. It's close. He's got it. Port have got 3. Tell you what, there was a good handball in there from Carr, wasn't it? That was a very good bit of play.
He's a very mature player, Josh Carr, just a real youngster, and he impressed when the Swans played Port Power up here for sure. But I like the way Port Power's defenders are running. Young Josh Poulton, another goal. Stephen Paxman had a shot as the fullback. Jared Poulton has a shot from the halfback. It's great to see the Port Power defenders willing to chance their arm and get down and try and have a shot for goal.
So Peter Bell's sitting it out. So Dennis Bacon's had to make a lot of changes in this opening term to try and get the balance right. Mark Williams coming down to the bench. Well, I'll tell you what, if they blew the siren now, this would be one of the more satisfying quarters for Port this year, wouldn't it?
It's certainly, look, they're on song, there's no question. The Kangaroos are going to really have to lift if they're going to win this game.
Primus has kicked to half forward. This is where you've got to take advantage too when you're on top. You've got to put it on the board, don't you? You've got to really make it count. Pickett stops and props. So Port holding them up. Mickey runs through Mickey Martin and then goes hard and high to centre half forward. Grant's going to wait for the crumb. Mead belted away. Abraham shifts and turns and then handballs to the opposition. Lyle can't get it out in a hurry. They're in there over the top of it. Stevens ball up. Yes, at centre half forward. Kangaroos in attack.
There's Rob Snowden too, the ex-Sydney Swans recruiting manager, now the football manager, I believe, for Port Power. Mark Williams, who he'd be reasonably happy for sure with their start today.
Primus and also Burton. Bishops are looking away. Pickett running hard. Wilson, now he's got Blakey back. He's gone back there. Port flooding this defence. And now Blakey can wind up and go hard and kicks to full forward. That's a probing kick. McKernan's in the box seat. Didn't get it. Simpson's at the back. Left footer. Can he work around? Handball back. Makepeace again. A good tackle at the back from Stevens. Bishop works to the line. This is a fair result. McCartney, good back turn. 50 metres out. Hooks back to centre half forward. Big flies at the back. Grant coming forward, and also Colbert. Francis claiming it. Poulton's handball over the top was a good one to Lyle. He's got time. He doesn't have to panic. He has it now. Now Wilson's the kick wide. It's a good kick for distance, but Blakey was able to come in. And there's some good stuff from Port at the moment, isn't there, at the back?
Full credit to Port. They've really come in. They are real desperate today, aren't they? Real keen to have a go and try and get a win on the board here. And I think they've taken Kangaroos by a little bit of surprise here.
Now Shannon Grant off. So there's been a lot of changes.
And Dennis Pagan doesn't normally use the interchange all that often, but certainly today he's really, I guess, struggling to find the right balance at the moment.
Motlop's high kick to about 45, 50 metres. Bassett was searching for it. Simpson, Lyle's got hold of him. Lyle playing a good first term. Bassett over the top of it, and there'll be a ball up.
Look, you've got to applaud Port power as well. They've obviously looked at Kangaroos' game plan and said, look, they're going to kick it as long and as quickly to centre half forward as possible. Let's get as many numbers, let's get some midfielders down back and just outnumber them at the contest, which they're doing so far.
Brady Rawlings. So the siren sounds for what has been a very, very surprising and interesting opening term, and a good story for Port. I think one of their best quarters of the year, if not their best in many ways. Probably they played slicker footy against the Crows for a half and also against Brisbane when they won, but this was gutsy stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, they've got to be very happy Plugger at this stage.
Oh, I think so, mate. To come to the SCG here with what you wouldn't call that much support, and to be playing like they are with the desperation, their attitude is spot on. Let's just hope that they can carry it through for the whole game.
21-9 at quarter time.
Lyles had 8, Francis had 6, Burgoyne 6. So there's certainly a lot of Port boys getting hold of the football at the moment.
There's Colbert and Paxman. So the breeze, if anything, you thought was favouring the end that the Kangaroos went to in the opening term. So Port have got it, though. It's a tough, swirly day. No question about that. Kingsley's high ball, Pickett with a lot of courage, but he didn't hold the mark in the end. He'll be disappointed. He did the hard work. Martin's kick wide. Abraham, who was one player for the Kangaroos, who was pretty busy in that opening term, out wide and out of play. It might be one of those days. Sometimes it happens, doesn't it?
Sometimes it does happen, Bruce. And North Melbourne have really just got to get back to the basics now. They know how to play the game. They're as good as anyone in the competition, I believe, and let's hope that they can get their game on song pretty soon.
Lyle, Carr over the top of it, gets it out, hands and knees the big spider. Well, a lucky free kick, I think, to be honest, to Harvey. Over the shoulder.
And they've gone back with that big forward line too, the Kangaroos. Colbert at full forward and Carey and McKern across the half forward line.
Poor kick by Harvey, but the wind is difficult, so it's probably a bit easy up here to criticise. And Montgomery's been good today. He said in the Adelaide press during the week that it was up to these players, this group, to make something of their careers, because the next group would come after them and they'd miss out. He was a late starter himself with the Bulldogs. Banks inside 50. Burton was at the back. McCartney. It's just like the Kangaroos have got no rhythm at the moment, isn't it? And maybe, we're just underestimating Port's effort so far. There is nobody forward of about 60 metres in the Kangaroos forward line at the moment.
Well, Steve Paxman, the Port power full back, has actually taken Colbert all the way down, and he's just off that pack of players at the bounce down there, and he's certainly making it hard for Lee Colbert.
Pike, Harvey, good tackle on him. Then Blakey gets it away. Francis off one step to about 30 metres. Treadray and Martin. Martin works at the front. Treadray's handball good. James couldn't quite get it in. And then Pike's quick kick. Blakey's hand's not bad. He held a tough one, then got it back. And again, good pressure. And that is bounced on the line. Well done, John Blakey.
Very close, wasn't it?
Oh, it sure was, Plugger, I tell you.
And that was nearly another goal to Port Adelaide there.
Yeah, great strength
Just
from Warren
Roger
Treadray.
James just fumbled it there at a really important stage. He would have run into an open goal then.
Well, there was no one forward of the centre wing for the Kangaroos. So a very congested area here, and Port have got it right where they wanted at the moment. And then Pike a bit up and under. He had to keep it in. It's at 50, and Primus has taken the mark.
He's been outstanding too. He's had 7 possessions, Primus, and he's really showed he's come to play as well.
Good kick. Right there, Treadray's got it. No, Martin back with him. Treadray will be disappointed. He had a lot of that, didn't he?
He did have a lot of it, and I think Primus is carrying about 4 kilos lighter than we seen him a few weeks ago. Ruzzi's got rid of that big knee brace.
Yeah, well, certainly all the better for it because he's been outstanding.
Burton and Primus. Ball just goes to ground. Archer to Burton. A bit of a fumble. Calthorpe's on the ground. Handball's missed its target. Makepeace was very good in that situation. And then Pike sat and then kicked it out hard. King underneath it. Montgomery with him. Good contest, that one. And King did really well to get out of it. Left foot to centre wing. This is where these one-on-ones today are so important. Motlop and Francis. Had Motlop been able to win it, they were away, weren't they?
And there's plenty of space too. If Motlop had have got that ball, he probably would have had 3 or 4 bounces because there was no one in between him and about the 50-metre line.
Wilson decides to thump, and then there's a free kick for Shepparton, and that's against Port. And McCartney's got it. At centre wing, he's kicked to McKernan's a good one, and McKernan's taken a nice mark between centre wing and half forward.
He's really got to step up, Corey McKernan. I know it's easy to be critical, but he's just never been able to recapture that form of, I think it was 96 when he actually won the Brownlow or equal, but he just hasn't really stepped up since that time.
Colbert got it from Burton and then gets it back to Bell. This is his first kick today to fall forward. Carey launches himself. Mead, Calthorpe, quick kick, close. I think he's got it. It's a goal to Calthorpe. Well, Port's had it forward for probably 4 minutes, Port Adelaide, and the Kangaroos have gone forward once and they kicked the goal.
Yeah, look, and it was bad play there from the Port power player playing on Calthorpe. I couldn't pick him up. Let's see if we can pick him up. Just watch, he goes to the back of the pack here. Calthorpe goes to the front, and he basically stands and spectates. So, Roger James, yeah, just bad play. Really needs to either go with that flyer or certainly pick him up as the ball hits the ground. But a great opportunist goal from Calthorpe.
His Primus without the big brace certainly has been good, but that's a blow to Port because they've had a lot of the ball in the second quarter for nothing, and Calthorpe kicking an opportunist goal.
Shannon Grant just coming back onto the ground too. He hasn't seen much of it so far. He's only had 1 kick and 1 handball, so he'd be pretty keen to get amongst it.
Lee Colbert off for Grant.
So again, a taller player for the shorter Grant. He's played some great games here, Shannon Grant, over the years. Josh Carr out of the centre. Well, here's a space here to run into. Pike running the gauntlet a bit, then takes off. He's got a lot of pace. Left foot, found its mark. Blakey playing in front. Good grab.
Johnny Blakey's probably been the Kangaroos' best player so far. That's his 9th possession already.
And Burton really should have taken that mark. And then Bishop away, had nowhere really to kick. Now Treadray's going to be one man out here. There'll be Kangaroos all around him. He's got to try and find a way here to keep it there. Archer attacked it hard, and it gets to the line, a boundary throw in. There's Lee Colbert. 3rd game only this year. Got goals against Geelong. Bit of irony in the fact that his first game for the Kangaroos was against the Cats in that big Friday night game at Colonial. Played last week, back today. McCartney and Primus, Harvey, and also Franco, and a boundary throw in.
And it's not going to be an easy day for forwards from both teams. It looked like Port have made a conscious decision to have a loose man down back at every opportunity. It's either Darren Mead, Bishop or Paxman, which will mean that the Kangaroos will also have a loose player down their end as well.
Simpson got it out well to Motlop, to McCartney, forced to kick in a hurry, got through Francis, and then Lyle and Burton, and Bishop's behind them. Lyle coming out, ball up. Francis unlucky, he just had to stop it with his hands before it got over the top. You'd expect it to be quite low scoring, wouldn't you?
It certainly looks at this stage that really both teams are struggling to get any sort of flow into their forward line.
Primus just read it a bit better than Burton that time. Simpson got down low in the tackle. Lyle's little handball. Franco gets a second crack at it and then gets away, but it's a poor effort by Franco in the end. gives it to Motlop, who gives it to Harvey, who bangs to centre half forward. Front spot Makepeace, well done at the back by James. Paxman to James, and away here, Port. Well, it's a poor kick, and Port's going to have to work really hard. Takes McCartney on, McCartney well done, and then kicks the ball out wide. Chance here for King. He can be very dangerous. He's in trouble. He rode it all right. Stevens couldn't hold him up. Bangs to McKernan, just a bit far. That floating windy ball. Bassett, last man standing. Can't be worried out of it. Harvey's in the pocket. A free kick anyway, but he's kicked he's going to get a free kick. Is he? Or the advantage given? I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, he did blow the whistle, but I think he gave advantage. Now, that's a case of, I mean, where's the advantage there? Should the umpire have then pulled him back and given him a shot for goal?
So it's a point to Harvey. That missed kick into the centre for Port was absolutely
so important, wasn't it? Yeah, they were away.
So James gets it back to Francis. Mead made a bit of a contest, but no one at the back. McCartney sweeping pretty well at the moment and kicks back to McKernan in the heart of the centre square. He's going to go short and wide. That's a very poor option. Francis just picks it off and then kicks to Corn's front spot. Good grab.
And that's nearly 50.
And it is actually a plugger. Gee, I tell you what, Dennis Pagan will be right for one, the McKernan short kick. Maybe not so much for Archer's 50, but
that's a bit of a tough one for a defender. Well, even Archer didn't even go back and stand on the mark, so he's probably going to be...
He'll, chances are, I think Glenn will be coming off for a minute or two, I'd say, Roosie.
Yeah, look, the 50 was a little bit unlucky. As a defender, let's just watch him here.
It's definitely 50. That's he'd taken a mark wholly and solely there.
You forwards have got it easy enough as it is, Plugger, without getting
those
easy.
Back me up here, Bruce. 50 metres.
I've got to say, I'm with you, Plugger. I'm with you. I live 4 doors from Chad's father.
I think Dennis would be more disappointed the fact that Archer didn't go back and stand on the mark.
Exactly right, yes. And as we just see now, coming over a bit of a cool down, Glenn, for a couple of minutes.
He's had a funny old season, Archer. He hasn't been really able to get going, has he, Glenn Archer? What a great player he's been.
Yeah, he's a terrific player, and he'll bounce back from that, but he does just have, I think it's just that his temper gets the better of him sometimes, and he's just his emotions, and you can't blame him for that. Football is an emotional game.
Tell you what, it was a terrific mark by Corns anyway, and he's kicked 2. Blakey's kicked a half forward. James has read it probably best. And Mead getting out there. This ball, as I said, is going to run away pretty... Ground's very hard today, and with the wind, it's going to be a bouncing game.
It really is a ground that when the wind is up, it really does swirl, doesn't it? And just from past experiences here, when the wind is up like this, you've just got to have your crummers ready for anything.
McKernan and Bishop. McKernan lays it down to Motlop. Can't quite get a clear crack. Gets the kick into centre half forward to Carey. Building forward was King. Colbert's handball. James has got it. Porter playing very well at the moment. The kick to centre wing. Over the back. Bishop. Rather Primus, I should say. He's moving very well, the big fella. And McCartney, I think, again, pretty happy to see it run out.
Once again, some great tackling from the Port Power defenders as well there. So they're continuing the momentum they took into the first quarter.
So Makepeace off and Capuano back on. So again, a lot of changes for the Kangas. They're just trying to get that right mix. Franco to Poulton to Corns, and again a good mark.
He's got good strong hands, hasn't he?
What about the kick though, Plugger?
It was a beautiful
day. The left foot just
low and hard. And won't this be a inspirational goal if he can go back and slot this one?
Just how tough
kick though. Oh, it's a tough kick. You just don't know what the wind's going to be doing here.
Well, he must be confident. He kicked that check side goal in the opening term. His hands have been terrific. That's a dreadful looking kick off the boot. Gee. That was awful, wasn't it?
It's when you're actually playing in the windy conditions too, Plugger. By the time you drop the football, sometimes it actually gets blown off the course, doesn't it? It can hit your foot on a pretty ugly sort of angle.
You've really got to try and kick it out of your hand almost. But he just probably rushed it a bit too, didn't he? He really didn't have a good think about it and just sort of wait for the wind to maybe just die down for a minute.
Pickett's kick to half back. Plenty of flyers. Martin and belts the ball to centre wing. Motlop and Francis. Burgoyne in there. Still Burgoyne. He should be all right. He's taking a long time. Oh, that's a disappointing effort. And Carey's got hold of it now in the pocket and goes across to centre half forward. But James, who since Calthorpe kicked the goal on him, has been very good. Montgomery's been good all day. Over the top to Burgoyne, who gets a second crack after overrunning the ball early. That's a beautiful kick to Stevens. Poulton is on. This is a very good build-up by the Power. Poulton's made a mistake. Gets around, though. Calthorpe went a bit too hard at him, perhaps. Treadray's the target. He works Martin underneath it. Franco to Carr. Should have a shot. He should have straightened himself up. He was dodging his own players in the end. Kicks it back and McCartney marks.
He just a nothing kick. He also had a Port Power teammate running into the half-forward flank. Could have either chipped it or kicked it longer and straighter for goal, but really a nothing kick there.
Gee, they moved the ball well from defence too. It was just a wasted opportunity, wasn't it?
Martin in the back pocket. Bishop, well done.
Well, that's a terrible decision.
McKernan, Mead, Motlop. Mead was good, but Motlop was terrific, and he's going to kick a goal. Well, they're pretty lucky, the Kangaroos. I mean, Bishop, boy, he was stiff, wasn't he, at halfback?
Very stiff. Like, just... Oh, I don't really know what to say there, Roosie, because that's, you know, it's just so... That'd just shatter you, wouldn't it? I mean, it was...
Here it is here in replay, Plugger.
Look, he hasn't even touched him with his hands.
That's just
a great mark.
Yeah, that's a clear-cut mark.
Within 15 seconds, the Kangaroos turn around and kick a goal. I hope that when the video is done during the week of the umpires videos, let's hope he has a good solid look at that one.
So they were stiff there, Port. Motlop kicking an opportunist goal. They didn't do a lot wrong, did they? I mean, Bishop's taken a good mark and been penalised, and then Mead's belted away, and it's lobbed in Motlop's hands.
Yeah, it was great roving, I guess. Take nothing away from Motlop. It was terrific roving, running at top pace, and also it was a good finish from about 50 metres out.
Primus. It's heavy traffic in there today, isn't it? Abraham gets it out to Pickett, who floats to half forward. That looked to push out that time, not paid. Mead, oh, well done, Bell. Gee, he read that well. Can't get the handball away. Was shoved in the back, no free kick. And then, is it Motlop again going for goal? And he's missed.
Just looked to maybe be getting into a little bit of gear now. That little bit of luck we mentioned with the free kick to Bishop. Goal, and certainly the Kangaroos have lifted a little bit in the last couple of minutes. And is that Jared Poulton going off there?
Bassett on for him. No doubt the Kangaroos have got on top in the last few minutes, Roosie. Francis. Now, Bassett's just come onto the ground. Blakey, well done by Bassett. It was a good mark. Stevens running for him, but the kick is to Primus. Now, Stevens is on here with the right handball. The handball in front of him. He's got to work it. Running him down, Pickett. Great kick, Stevens. Coming back. Hit the post, I think.
It was actually well done by Treadray too. We had a great angle on that too. I thought it was going to turn back in for a goal, and Treadray made a nice little jump and just a subtle little push in Mickey Martin's back. Maybe he could have actually marked the ball, but I thought he made the right decision, and just unfortunately for the Power boys, it hit the post.
Pickett, long kick out, Treadray, Stevens, he heard the voice, but he missed the target. Simpson's handball to Calthorpe, danger, good tackle on Harvey, but silly play by Carr, absolutely ridiculous. He had Harvey scunned and then threw him to the ground when the ball was away.
And he was lucky he didn't get a 50-metre penalty either there. He gave him an extra nudge when the ball was away from the contest.
Harvey, good kick into the breeze, start centre wing. Bishop's read it best. Now, he's got Corns on his own. He's made him work a bit out wide and stretched him wide here. Corns, Abraham will be a danger. He gets it back to Lyle. Lyle can go back to Bishop. But again, there's some danger here. The Kangaroos may get out here. Franco under pressure, no free kick. Port have wasted a chance here by putting players into a 50-50 situation, and it'll be a ball up. 23-28.
Well, they're still having a red-hot go. Glenn Archer just cooling his heels on the boundary. Wonder what's going through Glenn's mind. He's obviously championed the bit to get back on the field, no question about that.
Gee, I think someone's got rid of a brace there. It's on the ground anyway. Abraham's little handball to himself was really clever, and then he finds some space, and the kick a bit off to the side, but getting it into the corridor. Carey tries to build on. Mead, oh, King robbed him brilliantly. He's at 50, little kick to Carey, and found his mark. Good play by King.
Yeah, well done by David King there. Really summed up the situation well. Probably could have blazed away and had a shot for goal, which would have been the wrong option. But saw out of the corner of his eye, just Wayne Carey just ducking away from that original contest from Mead, which he does so well, and lining up for what will be his first goal if he can kick it.
He kicked his first goal of the match for the Kangaroos. In fact, this will put the Kangaroos in front for the first time today.
Yeah, it's a lovely kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, a goal. So Carey has got 2, and the Kangaroos with 3 second quarter goals are in front by a point.
They just seem to be getting their game plan a little bit together, the Kangaroos, and we know what that is, just kicking it long to a one-on-one contest with Carey and Mead. We've seen the last 2 goals resulting in that. The first one, Motlop crumbing a Carey. This time Carey getting involved in the early contest, then peeling out and taking a beautiful pass from David King. And that's a really good kick in these windy conditions for goal number 2 for Wayne Carey.
So not a lot of possessions, but a couple of goals to Carey. It's a good return. Peter Bell again off the ground. Quiet day for him so far. Just the 2 posies. Well, Primus never got into it there, and Capuano kicks to half forward. Bishop belts it away. Clayton's in the right spot, and then goes high to the centre half forward spot, wanting a McKernan grab perhaps. At the foot of it was Grant. It's touch play on, belting it away. Bassett at the back. Taken by Schofield, who's on the ground. It's normally a good kick. Treadray front spot. Nobody at the back for Port. Getting back Clayton. It's just taking their time here. Corns had to hold him up in the tackle and he couldn't do it. And the kick out wide releases Pike at half back. Gets to centre wing. And then delivers to centre half forward, wanting a high mark. Carey in the contest. Cowthorpe roving it pretty well, and then to the pocket. They've been front and square as they always are, the Kangaroos, in that situation, haven't they?
Yeah, there's that style of play again, Bruce. Just Carey going for the contest, 2 or 3 opponents against him, ball punches, and the Kangaroos are so well schooled and so well disciplined. They have their running players always getting to the front of the pack.
Bowen Lockwood getting ready to come on for Port Adelaide. McKernan. Francis in there. James's handball was good to Montgomery, to Lyle at half back. Long kick to half forward, McCartney and Primus. Primus, well done. He is playing a very good game. He's in trouble now, but he got the little handball away to Wilson. Wilson at half forward, hooks it back, doesn't have any legs on the kick, and Martin in front of Treadray. He's held Treadray up pretty well today, Mickey. He's got the mark. Short to Blakey. As Rusi said, probably the best player for the Kangas when they were struggling early in this match. He's still just a point in front. Cowthorpe's kick, but it's starting to happen for them, isn't it? King's got it. Carey wants it wide now, and King's going to kick it to him, and he slipped them, Carey, and he's got it. He slipped Mead there.
It was bad play by both Port Power players there. There was 2 players on Carey, Bishop and Mead. Bishop turned round to Mead, and I'm sure Bishop thought Mead was going to pick Carey up. Mead thought Bishop was going to pick Carey up, and in the end, no one did. So that's the danger when you do have 2 players against one. Sometimes they leave it to each other, and neither of them do the job.
Treadray off for Lockwood. Well, Carey was the damaging player in the final last year. He single-handedly put Port away, really, and he's kicked a 3rd goal. Beautiful kick. Well, he's asserted himself, hasn't he, in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, look, he's only had 5 kicks, Bruce, but he's kicked 3 goals and 3 very damaging goals. He is a great player that you just cannot afford to give an inch to.
And if you're going to double up on a player like Wayne Carey, Plugger, you've got to have one player in front and one behind, and both, in that case, the Port Power boys both got caught behind Carey and left it up to each other, and no one went with him.
There's the King, and 3 goals to half-time. They played a match here last year in a similar day against West Coast on a Monday holiday. The Kangaroos, bright, sunny, windy day, and Carey played a super game that day. Franco to Primus. The bounce might suit Port here, though. Martin, who's playing a very good match, to McCartney, to Blakey. Suddenly Port's forward line looks incapable of really making its presence felt against the Kangaroos. And Mickey might have hurt himself a bit there.
I think the move of Blakey back to Corns too. Johnny Blakey, as I said, is a very athletic player. Whilst it's robbed his run in the midfield, it's a pretty good matchup. He matches up well against the taller forwards, does Johnny Blakey.
Primus held on to there, no free kick. Harvey whipped off it. Carr Gets the ball wide and it bounces over the line for a boundary throw-in. 5-5-4-4 deep into the second quarter. Good quarter for the Kangaroos. They've kicked 4-1. That's Guerra. Yeah. Brent Guerra has turned 18 today and playing his first game of league footy. 50 metres from goal. Port need one just before half-time. They've deserved to be right there with them. Lyle, still Lyle, hooks back, corns at the back, got a finger on it. King, no, didn't run it. Well, free kick actually to Blakey.
Yeah, just got into the back of Johnny Blakey there.
Awkward kick, but he had McCartney clear. Now can Port worry him out of this? Montgomery there and also Wilson boundary throwing.
I think Johnny Blakey invented the helicopter kick too, Bruce. If he had had a patent on that, he would have made a fortune by now because it has become a very popular kick in AFL football.
Stephen Kernahan had his own version for a while, didn't he? Half forward, Schofield, Abraham, look away, handball was effective to Pickett. Good kick to Rawlings. Rawlings away from Kingsley. Then took a bit of a dive. Bassett's held his ground pretty well here. Handball was very good play to Burgoyne. Now he's got to find Francis. Back kick by Burgoyne inside the wrong way. Rawlings has got it. Loads it up. Carey's got a chance. He only had 2 to beat. Colbert. Still Colbert. Off the ground by Pike. Can McKernan keep it in? Looked out to me, and it was. And Carey has kicked a goal, but it's a boundary throw-in.
It must be so much fun to play with Wayne Carey because every time the ball goes in his direction, about 3 or 4 defenders all go with him. So at stages during a game, as a forward playing around Wayne Carey, you've got to find yourself by yourself because all the defenders gravitate to Carey and he takes so much pressure off his teammates.
Right forward pocket. Bassett. He hasn't made a bad start here. Kicks the ball to centre wing. Abraham and Franco, boundary throw-in.
Wilson off for Guerra, Bruce, and that means I've got Wilson and Treadray sitting on the bench at the moment.
2 of their top half a dozen, you'd think.
It's been hard for Treadray because every time the ball's gone forward, the kicking hasn't been great. Plus he's been not only on Mickey Martin, but there's always been a Jason McCartney or someone else dropping back in front of the hole there.
Primus has done an excellent job. James, quick kick up. There's Guerra. Pickett belts it away. Kingsley goes to ground, then did well to hold it in hard Rawlings. Ball still to be won. Abraham just fishing for it a bit. Kingsley and Pickett. Ball comes forward, back to Harvey. Harvey building it to centre half forward. Burgoyne, front spot, been paid.
I don't know what Dennis Pagan said at quarter time, but the hard ball gets in the first quarter with 12-2 to North Melbourne. Sorry, to Port Power. In the second quarter now, it's 13-5 to North Melbourne. So that's a significant change.
Blakey all over corns there. Franco's little handball to Lockwood. Left foot. They just need a bit of luck here. This ball's going to run away and bounce and bounce and bounce through for a goal to Lockwood. It's one of those days, isn't it?
One of those days, and only 1 point in it now. And we've played 25 minutes into the second quarter here. And scores are almost tied, so I don't think it'll be a very long quarter.
There's a good kick there, left foot. I can't remember a game where there's so many balls have hit the ground and run on so far. I don't know whether the wind has got anything to do with that, but the ground shouldn't be all that hard, but the ball is just really running on when it hits the deck.
Well, if you had the penetrometer reading today, I think it's a fast track, don't you? It is a really rock-hard track. That ball gains speed of anything. 5-5-5-4. Port needed it, didn't they? Just to make sure that they kept the pressure on. A high kick there by McKernan to centre half forward or Motlop. That's a good mark.
He's been important in this second quarter, hasn't he?
Carey. Well done that time by me. Building away. Back to Motlop. Broke one tackle. Couldn't break them all. Francis has got him. Ball up.
A bit lucky there. I think he could have easily been played holding the ball in.
Shannon Grant's getting taken off. He's been on and off the ground like nobody's business so far. He's only had the 3 possessions, so obviously Dennis a little bit disappointed with him at the moment.
Colbert gets a hand to it, and the free kick to Primus, who's playing a wonderful match. Nick Stevens Normally a good kick. He's out wide. This is Guerra having a run with Pickett. He's a hard man to be playing on in your first game. Archer goes to ground. Burgoyne was quick. Guerra. Burgoyne was very quick. The handball has to be accurate inside. Well done, Montgomery. And then a clever little hook back. They need the right bounce, but Colbert's read it best. He's okay, and then kicks it away to centre wing. Bad kick. Mark taken by Kingsley. That was Rawlings, I should say. Now, where do we go here?
This is a number of Kangaroos back in the hole there. You've got Jason McCartney. That's why he's got nowhere to kick it to. You've got 2 or 3 extra Kangaroos. Yeah, well done, too, just holding it up.
He's got to hit the goal square from there.
This is Guerra. Goes towards the goal square. Corns has taken a beauty.
Got to be a mark. Well done.
Well, his aerial performance today has been really impressive, hasn't it?
He's taken 3 really strong marks. Seen him kick a terrific goal before, and then a shocker. And let's hope for Port's sake here that he can go back. I think he'll have the Breeze pretty much right behind him here. So.
Well, he was their #1 draft choice, Plugger, a couple of years ago. He's just taken a little while. He's 20, but he looks like he's ready to become a very important player.
He certainly does. It looks like he's ready to take that next step. It'd be great for his confidence to go back and kick this.
He's careful with it. It's missing.
I think.
I tell you what, that end, he'll remember in that last quarter against the Swans, where he missed a lot of chances, he and Harwood.
It's been the story of the year for Port Power too. They kicked a lot of points, and I know it's obviously been in the media over there in Adelaide, but it's probably cost them 2 or 3 games this year.
Pickett's kick, wide. Stevens and McCartney, good effort by McCartney. You compare that result to the 2 Carey goals from long way out. It's probably been the difference in the first half, hasn't it? Kick to centre wing. Bishop, he's been pretty busy. Handball over the top to Francis. He's got a couple of options inboard. Montgomery's been a good player. Very short. Probably not a good option, to be honest. To Lockwood. Martin picked that off too easily. Now Mead goes early against Carey. Motlop's done this a couple of times. Good handball to McKernan. And McKernan wobbles and misses. Boy.
That's the second. We saw one from Burgoyne in the first quarter, one from McKernan. That's just tough to imagine how players can miss as Capuano comes off, but gee, you've got to nail those goals.
Motlop's been terrific, hasn't he?
He's been fantastic. His front squares this quarter have been absolutely outstanding.
Burgoyne in the pocket. So nearly half time here. Kangaroos by 0.5655. Port have had a couple of chances. But you see the Breeze get hold of that. As Rawlings gets it to McCartney, to centre half forward. Good grab in the front, paid to Port. And it's half time here. So the Kangaroos making a run at Port in that quarter. But that late goal by Lockwood and that miss by McKernan, and also I guess Corns, that balances itself out. Archer will be disappointed. In fact, the Kangaroos just haven't been able to get the right team out there on the field at the one time, have they? For the conditions today, they've just had to juggle all day, whereas Port seem a lot more settled in terms of their personnel.
Yeah, I can't remember Dennis Pagan using the interchange bench as much as he's had today. He's had his big players off in Capuano. He's had Grant coming on and off the ground. So he seems to be struggling to find a combination. But I thought in the last 15 minutes the Kangaroos started to really get back to their game plan, with Carey getting involved in one-on-one contests, and certainly Motlop getting in and under the packs.
I think they're certainly starting to get the game a little bit together, but I still believe that the pressure that Port are applying is immense, and I just think North Melbourne think it's just going to happen at this stage.
2 possessions, it's not on screen, so they need a lift in some areas, and there's Port Power, who their players have certainly been getting hold of the football. Burgoyne, Montgomery, Primus has had a terrific game, Francis got plenty of it, so probably the better players have been on Port's team.
So we start the second half here of the SCG. Can Port stay with the Kangaroos and, in fact, go in front of them in the second half, as they were for much of the first? Rawlings belts to centre half forward. Colbert belted out of it. McKernan, good tap out to Simpson on his wrong side. Wobbly old kick. The bounce, all important here, as it has been for much of the day. And that handball coming out wide and missing its target, coming from Wilson.
You just worry that the skill deficiencies of Port are going to play a very big factor in this game. A couple of times they've broken off half back, and just a skill error has made a big difference.
Montgomery's sitting it out, which is interesting. He was a good player in the first half. Capuano at the back, had a quiet day. Franco high tackle, and he's won it in the end. Just got down low.
I wonder whether Montgomery might be injured, because I thought he was definitely in their best players, and certainly one of the best players on the field. He had 13 possessions in the first quarter, and it was pretty damaging.
Franco, halfback, kicks to centre wing. Primus was his target, but good mark in the front. Well, there is Montgomery, so I've got that wrong. He's, sorry about that, Ruzy. I've given you a...
Thanks for that. You give me a
tread rate. Back to Montgomery, and as you say, he's not injured and he's playing well. And a kick to Corns. Well, what's he going to do, Plugger? Steps back. I hope there's a goal.
Well, let's hope so, Bruce. I think
he's got it. He's kicked through. Well, Port have had a better start than me right up here, but I'm going to take 2. But Corns has kicked 3. Tell you what, he's played a very good game, hasn't he?
He has been good. He's missed a couple of shots at, well, certainly one that we thought he should have kicked late in the second quarter, and there was one that was from a very difficult angle down in a pocket. But he's shown some great form. He's been terrific. His hands have been terrific today, and look, that's a great start for Port Power, and they moved to 5 points in front early on here into the third quarter.
Yeah, Glenn Archer's on Corns. John Blakey's actually moved away from that area, so they might have to move Blakey back there.
6'5", 5'6". Kingsley. This is where Port have been good. They've been able to match the intensity, or maybe lack of intensity, away from the Kangaroos in the heart of that centre square. Schofield, good dummy, then belts it up high to centre half forward. Lockwood's got it. He was the only man really going for it, and Port have started really well here.
He was the only fella going for a Plugger, wasn't he? Just eyes for the footing. Sometimes in the windy conditions, obviously, if you're going to tack it hard, it can pay off.
Yeah, well, once again, another good strong mark, and certainly within kicking distance here. Only got the wind to contend with here, really, and usually a pretty good kick for goal.
Hasn't played much footy, this young man, in the last 2 seasons, but he can really turn it on. It's only his second game for the year. Not bad. They like it. He's got it. He's kicked 2. Corns has kicked 3. So they're 2 youngsters. The 20 and 21-year-olds have got 5 between them. And if only Treadray could have some impact when he gets a chance, well, Port would be a real hope. This is a very, very good start. This is just the start they needed.
You go, Ruzy.
Just eyes on the ball there was just great stuff. Jared Schofield, who's a pretty damaging player, but really eyes on the ball was the key. He was the only one really going for the football.
And I reckon it's time, not that it's desperate stakes or anything, certainly by any means at the moment, but I reckon a move of Carey into the defence, just to see if they can give the defence a bit of guidance, and just to see if he can set some play up from down back.
King got it from Schofield and kicks to half forward. Good contest there with McKernan, Abraham. Port's tackling has been really impressive today. Bassett to Francis to Schofield. Well done, Pike. The ball just took a long time to get to him, the Port player there, and Pike was able to pick it off. Francis's handball wanting the line. To the other area, Plugger, where Carey's been very good, is in the midfield at times in a situation like this.
I just think they're just lacking a bit of spark around the midfield, and they just need someone there to sort of take hold of this game and just give him a bit of direction. And I reckon he's the man. I know he's kicked 3 out of their 5 goals, but I'm sure he could be just as effective down the back half.
Stevens' kick and Lockwood's mark. Their marking power's been a real problem for the defence, hasn't it?
Well, Bowen, he burst onto the scene, didn't he, as a youngster, and then went a bit in the wilderness, but he certainly showed in his early days that he can be a very crucial player, and that's a terrific mark.
He's had chronic back hamstring type problems. Kicks to centre half forward. Well, a mistake there where Pickett and also Martin, it gets out to Harvey, who's played defensively for much of the day. Good mark taken by Abraham. You'd reckon the Kangaroos would be sparked now after Port's 2 early goals. Capuano's the target. Bishop held his ground. Calthorpe's fishing for it. The handball to Blakey. There'll be a goal here. It'll be Carey. They're going to swamp him now. Terrific tackle at the back coming from Port Adelaide. And Paxman it was. And they've forced it through.
Well, that just sums up their day so far, but I guess for both sides. Fantastic play. Well done by the Port Power boys. They just really slid the defence there. Paxman coming across at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Right decision from Johnny Blakey to go over the top to Wayne Carey, but well done by the Port Power defence.
Colbert on. The good thing that Paxman did there too is that he bodied Carey, so put him off, didn't he? Didn't just put a tackle. Carey might have been strong enough to go through with a kick. Boundary throwing.
And the other thing was too, Bruce, he didn't give a free kick away. It's easy in that position just to run straight into the player's back, and it was a very good tackle.
So So Port by 10 points here. Miss there, and Abraham cleverly onto the boot. Has he kicked a goal? He might have just missed. It's a behind. It's looked dangerous, Abraham. Hasn't had a whole lot of it.
There's just that little skill error that I was talking about before from Port Power. They're certainly a million miles an hour, and they're really giving it their all, but you just worry that little handball that came straight out and it went straight to a Kangaroos player.
Oh, and you're talking about it, and Josh Carr has missed a mark, and Bell's kicked a goal. Well, I think, Plugger, you talked about it a few minutes ago, and now Roosy's talked about it. That is just typical of what you're saying. Just a bad mistake and a goal.
Yeah, look, the kick-outs from fullback, you can't blame the favourite. Right decision, kicks it, but just at the last moment, I don't know whether he took his eyes off the football. And Bell, who's been particularly quiet, that's only his third possession, and that's really a gift goal from that position, and really gets the Kangaroos right back in the game.
So the Kangaroos within 3 points again, 6-8-7-5. Capuano and Primus. Franco, they've won the centre squares, Port. Franco's kick not going far. Back to Francis, and then wide to Montgomery. He's going to have to sit under it. He's a good mark, Montgomery, and he takes a beauty actually against Pickett, who's a hard man to beat in that situation. Releases Lyle at about 60 metres to full forward. Treadray is out there. Corns has been a better option off the ground, I think, by Schofield, and it's out on the full.
What Corns is doing that Treadray isn't is just leading. Treadray's getting caught behind Mickey Martin at every time the ball's coming down. He's really just got to lead more.
Ball was touched, and then there's a bouncing one, but McCartney able to get it. Motlop, one of the best on the ground in the first half. Well done, Mead, just to get a hand to it because it stopped it. And then Paxman wide. Francis, Abraham to come at him hard. Port have got the numbers, but Abraham's got a chance. Oh, he's done it well against Wilson and Francis. That's a terrific effort. Now to King, banging to fall forward to the other King. Can Carey get involved? He gives a free kick away, I would have thought, to Paxman. Not paid. And then Mead's coughed it up to McKernan. Back to Carey at 50. Little kick, not far enough. Mead has a second crack. Carey's looking for a free kick. Back to Paxman. Forced to kick defensively and effectively, and finds Lyle.
Yeah, good kick from Steve Paxman. Just summed up the situation beautifully there. Was under a lot of pressure, but held on to the football and found Lyle.
Lyle probably having his best match for the season, and that's a free kick against Lockwood or against Primus perhaps, to McCartney. Goes in short. Cowthorpe waits for it a bit. Then awkward looking kick to fall forward, and Bassett's taken the mark.
Strong mark.
He's looked okay, Bassett, hasn't he? He's only, as we said earlier, his only other game was round 14 last year, where he sat on the interchange all day and didn't get a run.
He's had 10 possessions and taken 8 marks, so he's had a pretty strong game.
Lyle to Primus, who's had a very strong game. Franco was good. He was dropped it in the end, but he was under great pressure. Primus, no left side there for him. He came back, boundary throw in.
He just needed to take that ball out there. He really picked it up, Primus, and turned straight back into 3 Kangaroos players coming towards him. So the better option there is he's got his jumper ripped, and would have been just to take it and go straight over the boundary line.
Gets back to take the throw in. Down to Simpson, to Lyle. Gang tackle, drops it out. Archer, first time he's really imposed himself. Good kick to Carey, got him. Well, the square's vacant. Tough. What do you reckon, Plugger? You're the man. Is this a goal-kicking opportunity?
Oh, well, nothing's beyond this man, mate. That's why they call him the King, Bruce. But look, it's a tough kick, but certainly not impossible for him. But
where do you aim at, Tony, with a win like this?
Oh, I think he'd be aiming right at the right-hand goalpost. Doesn't seem to be going to be going too much sideways.
He's done just that, Plugger, and he snuck it through for a goal. Well, I don't know if you read the greens as well as that when you play golf, but that was perfect.
That's why he kicked 1,357 goals, Bruce. I wouldn't have picked that. That's amazing, Plugger. Well done there.
It's a good kick too on the play.
Oh, well, I mean, as I said...
But Port should have had someone right on the goal line here.
Of course they should have, Bruce, and we've seen on numerous occasions, not just in this game, but in other games where there's been goals scored where, if there had been someone on the line, the ball could easily have been touched and a point would have resulted, or a no score.
It's the bench, Clayton and Burton and Colbert just stretching and getting ready. Makepeace there as well. Carey, clever kick. read it perfectly, but Port really should have had a big man back there to... that ball went through at about shoulder height in the end. So the Kangaroos are back in front. This is the danger period now, isn't it? The period where the Kangaroos might be able to impose themselves. Abraham gets it out to Simpson. Simpson running onto it to fall forward. Mead and Carey. Boundary throw here. No free kick to Mead. Didn't look a lot, didn't look body on body, but he's went to ground.
Yeah, it's funny, Darren Mead hasn't done a lot wrong, has he? He's played a pretty good game, but Carey's kicked 4 goals. It just shows you what a dangerous player Wayne Carey is, and that's a terrible kick. Absolutely disgraceful kick, just as I'm giving him a rap, Darren Mead. It's made me eat my words. That is a terrible kick straight down the throat of Glenn Archer.
That's the second occasion in this quarter that that's happened. Not so much the first kick from the fullback was just a fault from the chap marking, and they scored a goal, and now we see Mead with an ordinary kick out from the fullback position going to Archer, and he's made him pay.
It's a goal, yes.
And that's the difference. Sort of separates the top teams from the bottom teams, doesn't it? The enthusiasm, the excitement, the passion is there certainly for Port Power, but all of a sudden they make 2 really bad blues. Fabian Francis to Josh Carr, who dropped the mark, and then all of a sudden Darren Mead kicks it straight to Glenn Archer, and it's 2 goals that they shouldn't have had, and it's put the Kangaroos in front. So just inexcusable play from Port Power.
It's good grab in the end from Archer too, wasn't it? And Archer in this quarter with that kick to Carey earlier, which resulted in a goal, and that mark there, it's a bit going on there, just trying to get the right matchups. But Glenn Archer's found a bit, hasn't he? Now, King was pushed into the centre square, and he's going to get a free kick. So silly stuff by Port here. They are blowing this. It's 8-8 to 7-5. The Kangaroos will put 5 goals on them in a hurry if they're not careful. Got to forget all about that sort of silly business, and it'll be a ball up.
Yeah, look, that's silly. 2 goals and all of a sudden a free kick, which is inexcusable. I'm sure Mark Williams wouldn't be very happy at the moment sitting in the coach's box, because that's the sort of stuff, the undisciplined stuff that can really bring a team undone.
David King's really good at sucking you in too, isn't he? I mean, and he's done it pretty well there. Carey, again, standing tall in this match. It hasn't been of a high standard, but the conditions are difficult. It's been a scrappy affair, but it's been close. But the Kangaroos have got their big margin of the match so far. Franco towards the line, and a boundary throw in.
Carey going back to full forward too, just give him a bit more room. When he was playing at centre forward, even though he did kick the 3 goals, there wasn't a lot of room for him to work with. As we see now, he's really 1 out inside the 50, and that's a tough ask for Darren Mead.
He's very involved in the match too, just with the talk and everything. He's really leading hard here. King running out of space. Port continue to put pressure on, but a free kick, a high tackle. David King's got a couple of these. I think he's conned a couple of these Port players. To fall forward, a bit of a wrestle, a bounce, and Mead runs it over for a behind. Porter got to get it down the other end now.
Yeah, they just stopped getting numbers back in the defence, Port Power. In the first half, they got their midfielders back. They had a loose man in Bishop playing back there. Now it's really Carey and Mead 1 out, and I rate Darren Mead very highly as a player, but no one can contain Wayne Carey 1 out when there's so much space down there.
Paxman in short. It's close to the boundary line. Capuano, Bishop building it out, boundary throw in. It's been the defensive side throughout the day.
The ball has been on that side of the ground an enormous amount of the day. Obviously, that's where the wind's pushing the ball.
Saw Brent Guerrero there a moment ago. Big kick forward by Harvey, slung as he kicks Francis. Handball back to space was good. Lyle gets it back to James. He got it to Montgomery, who was a little slow to get his boot to ball. Quick tackle coming in. Abraham clever to Harvey. High kick to fall forward. Carey's at the back, and Bassett again. He's going to be a good player, I think. He stood his ground with a lot of courage and took a good mark to Burgoyne, who had a terrific first half. First time we've sighted him in this third quarter. A bit up and under, but the breeze has got hold of that. Kingsley to half forward. Corns attacks it pretty well. Goes to ground. Needs a handball to Schofield. Bell getting back. It was an interesting decision to handball there. Schofield gets it back. Treadray just out in front. Port needs somebody to attack hard here. Motlop was in. Treadray gets back. Carr bangs it to fall forward. A real wrestle here. The ball's bounced, but it does touch, and it's a behind. Gee, they had some chances, Port, didn't they?
Yeah, they seem to outnumber them in the forward line there, but at least they're down inside their 50. They were really struggling there for about 5 minutes, and the Kangaroos were dominating play, so the ball at least is in there forward 50-50, even though King's having the kick out now.
Kicks to the centre. Capuano's the target. Oh, Simp's a good fly in mark. Quickly plays on. This is where Carey's being so dangerous. Well done. And Paxman at the back. Archer having a bit of a third quarter burst. Bouncing ball here. James is going to have to run hard. This ball can get away. He's got it. Kept it in. Very short to Mead. Again, very short, and gets it out wide. Montgomery's got half back, and then on. His kick's got to be accurate, and Archer, who's really got a taste for it now, has marked in front of Kingsley.
Yeah, you wonder whether he got a bit of a rev up at half-time. Glenn Archer, he certainly lifted his game, and he is a very important player for the Kangaroos.
I noticed all the players came around him when he kicked that goal, so I think they were feeling it a bit for him too. It's a bad kick. It must be difficult out there today. And Bassett again. Oh boy, this is dangerous. Have a look at this. Calthorpe building forward. Carey strolling in, keeps it low and misses. Do you reckon this is not the best game of footy we've seen this year, is it?
Well, he kicks the hard ones, mate, and then that was probably one of the easiest ones he's had all day.
Just look how easy he takes this, though. Oh, Wayne Carey. Well, I guess he's due for one mistake, isn't he? He's been such a great player, but look of disbelief on his face. But once again, a Port Power mistake, a bad kick from Paxman, nearly results in a Kangaroos goal.
Francis getting as far as he can, a bit up and under. McCartney and Primus. Bishop was the early flyer, and Porter forced it almost to centre wing.
Talking about the big guns, Warren Treadray, what would you do with him, Plugger, at the moment? Would you throw him on the ball? Would you throw him loose man in the back line? He just hasn't been able to get into the game. He's a really important player for them.
Yeah, I think they really need to do something with him. He's just not firing at all down there in the forward position. I'm not too sure about him playing in defence. Maybe running the ball for 5 or 10 minutes, just see if he can get him into the game a little bit.
Clayton on for Motlop. Good mark to Carr at half back. 7-6 to 8-10. Just kicks as hard as he can in the end, but the Kangaroos everywhere, and Bell takes the mark.
So the ball looks to be really holding up going to that end now.
So you think if Porter within 2 or 3/4 time, they'd have some chance here. It should be the scoring end. It hasn't worked out that way today. Rawlings' kick and Carey's just read it best.
That was terrible play by Steve Paxman. He had coverage in front of him. Brett Montgomery was the player that was in front of him, which obviously is his job to drop back in the hole. And instead of Paxman taking back position on Carey, which you have to do, he snuck in front of Carey. Watch it here. He sneaks in front of Carey, allowing Carey just to push him under the football. So that is really poor defensive play from Steve Paxman.
Carey's kick 4. And he's now kicked 5. Well, he's proving to be the difference in the match, isn't he?
Well, you just can't give a guy like Wayne Carey, you can't let him get his hands on your body. As I said here, Brett Montgomery makes great position in front of the pack, as we see here, and Steve Paxman had terrific position behind Wayne Carey, but for some reason Paxman wanted to go in front of Carey, allowing Carey to get his hands on him, just slightly push him underneath the ball, and let me tell you, that's bread and butter for Wayne Carey. As soon as he gets your hands on you, it's all over.
So this is a little jig around that's been going on. That's how King got his little push and free kick a moment ago. Comes across in front of Cart. So the Kangaroos have got it out now to 16 points. Port need the next goal. It's a low-scoring match. You just can't see Port kicking a huge total here, so they've got to keep the Kangaroos down. Oh, Francis's kick. Again, it's very dangerous. Mead has to sit and wait almost in the end. A tough handball for Bishop. Gets it wide. They might get out of it. Forced to kick in a hurry. Paxman to centre wing. Bouncing ball. Primus to Franco. Franco's got a bit of time and space here. Little kick okay, I thought to Schofield, but Pickett belted it away. Coming off the interchange, Guerra works it forward. James to Stevens. Oh, Schofield, the umpire getting in his row a bit, but I don't know what Port were thinking there. Good tackle from the front there from Guerra. Back to Kingsley. Hooks it back. And Port have become very untidy over the last 15 minutes going forward.
Yeah, look, they certainly have. Once again, not a bad forward movement, but just a couple of handballs, as we see Braden Lye going on the bench. A couple of handballs missing the targets, and then Kingsley probably had a lot more time than what he thought there. Went for the round the body kick when he really probably should have straightened up and just kicked the regulation drop punt.
7-7 to 9-10.
Bruce, it's pretty quiet all of a sudden down here on the boundary line. It's almost as if everyone's expecting the Kangaroos just to blow this wide open at any minute.
You get the feeling, but Porter at half forward with Montgomery, they just need a goal here, don't they? They're pressing forward, got to stay close. Montgomery keeps it low, Corn's big fly, Martin at the back, Harvey was roving. As the breeze is strong, Nick, as it's been all day, it seems to be favouring the right end.
Yeah, it's still swirling around. I think it's actually getting stronger, but it's still swirling around. It's really hard to pick exactly which end it's favouring at the moment.
Cowthorpe wants a free kick, good umpiring, and now Kingsley, and Kingsley's kick to the goals, and Treadray at the back of Martin, and it'll be a boundary throw. Not a bad result for Port in a way.
Just looks a bit out of sorts, doesn't he, Treadray? There he is on screen. Just hasn't been able to get into this game at all, and you would think if Port Power are going to win, he really needs to take hold of this game.
Primus, and also McKernan. Schofield, can he get away? Pickett's held on him for a while, but probably the right decision, and then a poor handball by Lockwood. Back to King. King's kick into the centre. Bouncing ball, Bishop attacked it hard, it ricochets away. Stevens, good take. Lovely tackle though by Cowthorpe. Good umpiring to give Stevens a benefit there. The ball into the centre. Franco working it in front. He runs into a brick wall called Glenn Archer. Archer holds him up, ball up. Good stuff.
Glenn Archer probably could have got a free kick there because the old elbow came in, nothing untoward, but it just maybe collected him on the in the neck, on the chin, and I think that's why Glenn Archer's a little bit fired up at the moment, because he probably should have got a free kick.
Centre wing, 15 points the margin here. Late into the third quarter. Primus and Coonan couldn't get close to it there. Colbert over the top. Guerra with him and a ball up.
I know you think, Plug, one of the worst rules changes I've ever seen in this game is taking the kicking in danger out. We saw there 2 indiscriminate kicks. I just think if a player's going, he's got his hands on the ball, you've got to give him the opportunity to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, Rizzy.
Primus just wins it to Schofield. Little kick not going far. Franco working really hard. Back to Francis. Running into him was Burgoyne. Mead over the top, and then it's a bit of the old stacks on the mill, we used to call it, and we're in a ball up. Grant coming off. Not ready. Shannon Grant's had he's had a miserable day, hasn't he?
He's had 2-1, Shannon Grant, so certainly a day that we will not like to remember.
Mate Peace comes on for him, and Motlop getting ready. Primus, Cowthorpe caught up, Simpson. There's a lot of heavy traffic today, and Port have matched the Kangaroos in this area. They'd have to be happy with their efforts in close.
Well, really the only difference in the game is that kick out and the kick from Mead. I mean, that's basically the difference in the game at the moment, those 2 mistakes.
Mead over the back, building forward. And the umpire's found a free kick to the Kangaroos there for holding on. And that wasn't the umpire in question, that was the umpire that was off the ball.
You wonder where they find them sometimes, don't you?
Where they find the umpires or the free kicks?
Cowthorpe to the pocket. Bassett working back towards it, and a boundary throw-in. That was pretty cruel, Ruse.
I want to say this. When I was in America last year, I umpired some games in the United States Australian Football League. It did give me a different appreciation of how difficult it is to be an umpire. I thought I knew the game pretty well,
Rusey,
but
stop trying to get out of it, mate.
But it is very difficult. It's a very, very difficult task.
What, harder than playing, do you think, Paul?
Much harder.
There's Abraham wanting a free kick, and he's got one. It's going to come back. So a bit high on Abraham.
Just these little mistakes again, Bruce. You know, the free kicks, the turnovers, and you can't question Port Power's endeavour or anything like that. But just these are the things that determine games, particularly the closer games and the low-scoring games. And just a nasty, just ugly little. The free kicks, Kangaroos 19-9, so that's a huge discrepancy.
That was almost a we was robbed statistic, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I reckon our viewers back in Adelaide have been saying, yeah, come on boys, get onto this. I hadn't noticed the big difference, but I reckon they've had a couple of lucky free kicks, the Kangas, and that one that Bishop marked earlier was one that I'll remember. Anyway, Abraham to have a shot. He's good enough, isn't he?
Oh, he's a lovely kick, this fella.
metres out.
As soon as you give him a wrap, Bruce, see?
It's a lovely kick out of bounds on the full, that. I haven't seen a nicer kick than that, though, out of bounds on the full, Plugger.
He's
Spun beautifully.
Plugger, he's winding you up, mate.
I'm still in amazement at his comment before about how hard it is to umpire a game of footy.
So the power out, McKernan, he's had a quiet one. Stevens, good contest. Primus's little kick. McCartney back to King, who's been a good player. Little handball inside to Simpson to fall forward. Carey shielding his eyes and then involved in a good contest. Back to Bassett. Gets it wide to Montgomery. Bill to put some pressure on. Montgomery probably wants the line and he gets it. Well, to Port's credit here, the Kangaroos have threatened to blow it away and they haven't been able to do it, have they?
Look, they have withstood it. They're only 15 points behind, so they're still very much in the contest. The breeze seems to be blowing the Kangaroos' way at the moment. So if they can stay close, maybe pinch a goal, they're certainly very, very much in this game, and a big chance going into the last quarter.
Blood rule here on Carr, I think, so he's coming from the ground.
You've only got a couple of minutes to go, and it's only a 15-point margin. So we've seen lately 2 or 3 goals. They can kick that in a matter of minutes. So if Port Adelaide were good enough to get another goal before the 3-quarter time break, they are certainly right in it going into the last quarter.
And they've got some good players too. If you go down their list, Primus has been terrific. Brett Montgomery, I think this is the best game he's played for Port Power. He's had 19 possessions and 10 marks. Some of their young fellas have been very impressed with Bassett, so they've certainly got some players that are in pretty good form.
Kangaroos in attack, about 50 metres from goal. McKernan lays it down. Colbert's had a quiet day. It's been a pretty tough day for forwards and a ball up.
It has been a hard day for forwards, and Carey's obviously stood out, but no other forwards really been able to take this game by the scruff of the neck because of the swirling breeze.
Bishop in there, taken by Franco's, had a good game, to Burgoyne, takes them on. Burgoyne decided not to go to Primus and go long to centre half forward. Treadray worked under it, not really contesting to confidently at the moment, is he? Pick it over, ran it, you don't see that too often. Rawlings' handball just found its mark. Can King take them on and do something a bit special? Corns gets back to make the contest and he has to get it out of there in a hurry. Well, that's interesting. King's grabbed him by the legs, hooked him up and gets a free kick for holding the ball. Colbert's kick wide to Carey and he finds him.
I don't find that.
I cannot believe that decision.
I just find that hard when a young kid, Corns, really makes a fantastic. Watch him here. What a fantastic effort to bring. I mean, he's trying to get up off the ground.
Have a look at the tackle by King though. He's got his legs.
Tackles around the legs. I don't know about that. That's just.
It's not a free kick.
It's a tough rule.
Well, Carey's kick 5. I reckon he's going to get 3 Brownlow votes again today. He might win his Brownlow this year. These.
Just missed it, I think, Bruce.
Well, all it deserved, maybe the Port fans would be saying right now.
Yeah, well, there's certainly, we talked about the free kicks before, so that's probably free kick number 20, and the Adelaide fans back in Adelaide would be fuming with that one.
Francis out wide. Archer having a very good quarter. Geez, read the play well in this term. Marks and kicks to centre half forward to Carey. Got it. Paxman in hard, but Carey's marked it. He'll probably kick this one, Plug. He's missed the easier ones today, hasn't he?
He's missed a couple of the easy ones, kicked the harder ones. But you could never discount him. This is certainly well within his distance and well within his range.
Canal will not put Port out of touch here, but this will make it really hard.
Yeah, they certainly don't want this one.
52 metres out. It's a bad kick. Gee, the breeze must be a problem today. And Meads marked it at the back. So Carey has missed a chance here in the last 2 minutes to really put them away. Not too often you can say that about their captain, that he doesn't take full advantage of a situation. But Port have been let off the hook here.
And McKernan just lurking back here from this Mead kick, and don't be surprised if he marks his football.
Let's see. Can he get into the contest? Well, Treadray was in the front.
Well, he would have marked it if the siren hadn't have gone. I think he pulled out there, Bruce.
So it's 9-11. I'm not going to argue with you, Roosie. 9-11 to 7-7. So they've stretched it from a 1-point lead to a 16-point lead at 3-quarter time. It has been an uninspiring match. There's no question about that. Let's see if we can get a big last quarter going. But the good thing is that Port are close enough to have a real chance. So 3-quarter time, it's 9-11 to 7-7.
probably would have been 2. I mean, when was the last time Peter Bell had 5 possessions? I think he's averaging something like 27 possessions a game. Basically 2 players now on Wayne Carey. We've got Bishop in front and Paxman playing from behind.
First goal vital here in terms of who wins this match. Simpson up and under. Carey leading to the front. Gets to Rawlings. Rawlings about 50 out. Kick in, not bad. Just across the front. Can Harvey get another second crack at it? Francis getting back. Working out. Kangaroos have got some numbers around it. Francis will have to get it out. Burton gets involved. Carr just sort of hands it to Francis, who I think kept it in. By keeping it in, I mean on the full. He bounced it out, boundary throw.
And if Port are going to play a loose man right in front of Carey, his direct opponent, which is Matthew Bishop at the moment, but his direct opponent needs to really push down and be proactive. And also we need to get the crumbing players. The Kangaroos need to get their crumbing players around the bottom of the packs.
Burton and Primus both fishing for it. Motlop's kicked a full forward. There's the 2 against Carey. And a through 4 are behind.
It must have happened to you a lot of times, Plug. It must be frustrating for a guy like Wayne Carey to have 2 players basically playing on him.
Yeah, but when you look at it that way, there's got to be a spare man somewhere else, don't they? So as long as that spare man's making his presence felt, well, I think it's a good thing actually, because it does loosen up on your other players.
Schofield with a chance. Now Port attacking hard here. He's going to take them on. Bounces. Almost has to kick a goal now. It will be a spectacular effort. He's missed.
Yeah, it deserved more than that, didn't it, eh?
It's a good individual performance, wasn't it?
And he is a goal kicker, Schofield. He's kicked 12 goals for this year. He did all the hard work, didn't he? And in the end, the shot was relatively easy, and he missed it.
Pickett to Calthorpe. So still only a 2.5 goal game here. Just think if Port do get the first one, they've got a real chance here. King wide, that's a good mark. He's been a good player, King.
He just held his body up there, and just Montgomery ran straight into the back of him, held himself up, and that was a good mark. It's been a good contest. Montgomery's been particularly good also.
Uses Blakey, who was terrific in the first 1/4.5. Banks to centre half forward, and and then he leans back and kicks it to the goal square. Now Burton's got a big height advantage here and forces through.
Can we see that again? That was absolutely amazing. Let's have a look at this again. There's a pack of about 6 players, and Wayne says, no, thanks very much, guys. Can you just get out of the way? I want to take a one-hander.
Francis for the second time. That's pretty effective actually doing this. Banging into the centre. Mead's got it. Lyle onto it again on the left. Lockwood gets it. So, well, he didn't get it. To Corns. Can he break a tackle at Pickett? He gets a half a handball out. It's still loose. It comes back to Burgoyne. Good tackling. Treadray gets it back. Lyle hooks it back to the front of the square. McCartney being held on to, and he takes the mark. It's a disappointing result for Port. They were on there. Lockwood just dropping a chest mark. Burl worked underneath it by Kingsley. Back to Kingsley. Now he's got a loose man in the pocket. I think it's Montgomery. It is. He takes forever, and it's a free kick. Well, Port are just frustrating here. Marked by James.
They've had 2 great chances, haven't they? We saw a missed goal from Schofield and then a drop mark from Bowen Lockwood.
Carr banging to full forward. They all flew. There was nobody at the back. Schofield runs and a boundary throw in.
Really has been the story. We've talked about it so many times, but the difference in the game is just the mistakes. Great kick-ins there from the Port boys, straight down the middle. Darren Mead, great little handball, and they're away, and all of a sudden a drop mark, an easy chest mark from Bowen Lockwood. Instead of having a shot for goal, we now find it in the forward pocket.
Nobody forward of the centre for the Kangaroos. Carey's right on the centre at the moment. So a lot of players in the 50-metre arc for Port.
Well, I'm sure what Dennis is saying is if they're going to double team Wayne Carey, it's a lot harder for them to do it if he's playing at centre half forward, because now he can actually run back towards goal, whereas playing at full forward, he's got to lead towards the football. Now he can either run forward or go back.
Gee, that was bad luck. Treadray tried to lay it down to Schofield. Big kick out by Pickett. Burgoyne missed the mark in the end and then has to hang on to Clayton. Port had numbers around it, but the Kangaroos will get away, I think. Make pieces out wide. Clever play, Blakey to Motlop, who's been a terrific player. Not high possessions, but very effective. Kicks to centre half forward. It bounces off Carey's head. Primus and Montgomery. Again, numbers. Now, Burton may get Montgomery here. Montgomery has been ping-folding the ball once in the last quarter, gets it over the top. Stevens has to wait, gets a poor bounce. Rawlings. Well, it's been a scrappy old match.
Those bounces, Plugger, I can't remember. Just bouncing straight up, It's just been particularly hard to read the ball today.
Where's Blighty when you need him? Some theory about the stitching on the footy right now. Plugger, are you good at that?
No, mate.
Quick kick by Archer. Oh, and then out of play.
I failed plasticine, Bruce.
Well, there's Carey and Paxman. Oh, it's a real battle, isn't it? It is a struggle. 9-13 to 7-8. Boundary throw in. Mead, Kingsley round the body, but straight to Calthorpe. Calthorpe looks up. Not too many options, but Archer was pushed out in the end, and then too slow. Paxman getting, or Bassett getting to boot. Port come forward now. Stevens, he could stretch Calthorpe here. He's a bit quicker. Goes to full forward. Corns the lead. He's looked their best forward. Lockwood's got a man in the square. Doesn't need him. Kicks the goal. They're a chance.
Well, that was a bit of selfish play there from Bowen Lockwood. I know it's a big call because he has kicked the goal, and I don't want to be too critical on the young fella because it was a great goal in the end, Plugger, but he just had an open man in the goal square. I don't know whether you can pick it up on the screen here, but great, once again, Chad Corns, great stuff. Great crumbing, but there's Matthew Primus standing right in the middle of the goal square. Now, I know if you had had the ball, you would have passed it, Plugger.
I certainly would have passed it. We can't say too much because it was a goal at the end of the day, and that's what it's all about. But certainly if you had missed it, well, I'm sure there would have been words from the coach's box.
And there's the 2-on-1 down back there with Bishop and Paxman. Every boundary throw up and every ball up, that's what's happening down back for Wayne Carey.
Well, there's a moment here where this match is up for grabs, I think. Next 5 minutes. Schofield to centre half forward. Lockwood pushed out by Blakey. No free kick. Back to Martin. Martin out wide. I say no free kick because Bishop got pinged for that earlier in the match, but I'm going to stop talking about that. People will think I'm barracking for Port. It'll be out of play. It's 67 to 56.
Yeah, they're right back in this, Port. And as I said, Bowen Lockwood probably made the wrong decision not passing it to Primus, but in the end it was a terrific goal, and we've really got a match on our hands.
Different day, different match. 4 weeks ago, Port was in this position against the Swans. Remember in the last quarter? They got really within I thought a winning position within about a goal.
And the difference there, Bruce, they just didn't kick those goals, and Bowen Lockwood's put that one on the board, so maybe for them it is a good sign.
King on the burst. He's been probably the second best player. Carey didn't take the mark. McKernan's had a quiet one, and he's missed a couple today. That's not easy.
And once again, just on Carey, I don't want to harp on it, but if Paxman's going to continue to play from in front, even though he's got a loose man, he's going to fall into Carey's trap. He just needs to play off him, play from behind, and force Carey to lead to his loose teammate in Bishop.
Well, Francis is in trouble. He took Motlop on, who was ready for him, I think, to Bassett. They've got it to centre wing, but no direction at all, or method in the end. It was a Hail Mary kick, and McKernan was under it, and then Blakey, he doesn't mess around, but he kicks it wide, and Paxman's taken the mark. So the Kangaroos having real troubles. It's only once this season they've kicked under 15 goals in a match. Oh, great mark by Carey, and they're sitting on 9 goals at the moment. King in the pocket, and then finds Harvey at about 35 metres.
Well, this might be the seal of this one.
Yeah, it was 2 good kicks there from the Kangaroos boys. First one from Carey, and then the second one, here's the one from Carey. Beautiful kick over to David King, and the second one, I don't know whether he meant that or not, but certainly went to Brent Harvey, who's been a little bit quiet from his normal productive self. Only had the 14 possessions, but this is a critical shot at goal.
Into the teeth of the breeze here. It's a good kick. Harvey kicks from about 35 to 40, gives it plenty of air, and he's missed. 9-15 to 8-8, so Port's still in with a chance. Plugger's saying it might be the winner. He's probably right. I mean, it's been that sort of game. One more goal may put them out of the reach.
Port just don't look like to be able to kick 2 or 3 quick goals, do they? And if they get too far behind, I really don't think they've got the ammunition to come back.
The Burgoyne's kick's dreadful. And then King, who is a good finisher, not this time, and he too misses. He and Carey have been their best, haven't they?
I don't know why they just persist with going short from the defence, though.
The other thing
Surely
is,
if there's any doubt at all, you've got to go long.
the other thing is, Plugger, kicking off one step. I mean, Burgoyne was actually backpedaling there, stopped and kicked on one step. It is extremely difficult skill to perfect that.
Wide, the kick to Bishop is outnumbered. Oh, that's a terrific grab. Plays on quickly. And had to turn Stevens. Probably should have taken the ball there, Stevens. He had time. Schofield's a burster. Stevens is running for him. He decides not to take Martin on. Kicks to the goals. Port have got the numbers. And Pike getting back. Tell you what we're at now. It's whether Port are satisfied with a 2-goal defeat or whether they really believe they can win a famous victory here. I mean, 2 goals, you come away with some satisfaction in a way because everyone thought they'd get hammered, but they can really take the next step by winning this match.
And they have got probably some of the best players on the ground. I think they're in better form. Funnily enough, it sounds, but I think they're actually in better form individually, but the collective game plan of the Kangaroos has been just too much for them.
Though this is a good build-up to Motlop, who's been so clean all day, but he too misses. You're dead right. Relatively speaking, the Kangaroos are playing a lot more below their best than Port are today in terms of what they've shown so far this year. And some wayward kicking on a tough day for goals, I know, is keeping Port in this match.
Well, 9-16, so they've had 55 scoring shots.
5 points in the last quarter.
5 points, and it's really left the door open, hasn't it?
It's a good kick by Francis, a great kick to the centre. Well, Montgomery was a makepiece, was good enough to make the spoil in the front spot. Motlop throws it back. Rawlings, good tackle on him. Working hard though. Peter Bell's had a quiet old day. Gets it back out. It's just not his day. Carr to Franco. Franco short. Schofield's given them a bit of a leg speed, hasn't he? His options not always the right ones. Primus Nilly, can Treadray have an impact at all? Goes to ground, left-hand handball, goes to the wrong spot. Harvey's got it, wants to give it off to Carey, deep for the moment. Oh, held up by Guerra. Guerra's got him again. Carey with some strength to Calthorpe. Calthorpe's kick to the pocket, he gets to Bell. Bell would love to do something a bit special in this last quarter, to have something to remember. Loads it up, kicks it to the pocket. Abraham's in the box seat. Well done, Stevens, building it out of play.
Yeah, well done by Stevens there just to come across. But Schofield certainly has added something. He's 12 possessions in limited game time, and his pace and his decision-making has been pretty good as well. But Treadray, once again, just really struggling to get into the game at the moment.
Bassett to Bell. Good tackle on him, Archer's in there. Abraham just drops it down in front, tries a toe poke, Bishop over the top. And the Kangaroos are really struggling, aren't they? They are really struggling for any system today.
Full credit to Port Adelaide, though. I mean, they certainly have tried hard too today, and they've really made their presence felt.
20 metres from goal. Port would realise that they've just got to hold firm here. Simpson comes over the top. Bell tries to con the umpire into a free kick. Harvey gets it from King. Back to Archer. Stevens pushes him away. Archer hands and knees, and Stevens gets it back in. And it's still there, and a ball up 25 metres from North Melbourne's goal.
Yeah, sometimes both teams struggling with their system. You certainly can't fault the effort, as we see Colbert on the bench. The effort from both teams has been fantastic, but neither side has really been able to get any sort of system going today.
Looking back, McKernan, but straight back to Bassett. Bassett to centre wing. Can Treadray outmark Martin? Burgoyne now with some run. Can he use some silky skills? He makes the ball sit. He's got to take a chance here and take a couple on. Makepeace runs him down. He kicks badly under pressure. That's a great chase by Makepeace.
Yeah, that is a great chase, and that can be a game-winning stuff there. Burgoyne, what silky smooth skills he's got just to pick up the ball, but fantastic chase.
Pike, deep, gets it out wide, and McKernan waits for it, then sort of jumps up. Simpson around his body to half forward. Carey, who's looking a bit sore at the moment. King has been pushed forward, and he could be the winner. Stevens had a pretty good game, wants the boundary line and gets it. Carey coming in on Bishop, boundary throw in. Well, in this last quarter, Port's added 1-2. 6,963 the attendance, 6,963. Port have added 1-2, and the Kangaroos 5 behinds. McKernan, Bishop, Wilson, Francis, He hasn't got it. It's a real battle in there. Stevens towards the line. 50 metres from the Kangaroos goal and another boundary throw in.
Yeah, just a real arm wrestle at the moment, and without question you would think the next Kangaroos goal will seal this game, because it's certainly not a free-flowing, high-scoring affair at the moment.
Kernan and Bishop. Back to Stevens. Slow handball to Kingsley. Good tackle. Bell robbed him in the end and then drops it himself, and then a boundary throw in.
It makes you think, without Wayne Carey's influence today, where would the Kangaroos actually be?
Yeah, look, I think you don't like to say it's a one-man team, but I've got no question. If Carey was on the other team today, I think Port would be probably 5 or 6 goals up.
McKernan up and under the centre half forward, belted away by Bishop. Lyle, still Lyle, good little give actually to Francis. Now he's a good kick, Francis. Can he get away from Simpson? He does belt to centre half forward. Can somebody take the mark for the power? No, Martin back there. They've got a lot of experience back there, the Kangas. Pickett gets it from Blakey, stops and props and then uses Mickey. Mickey's away, loves a bounce. Loads it up, kicks it as hard and high and as far as he can. Carey launches, can't quite take it. Stevens front spot, back turn into trouble in the end. Then held up, good umpiring to let it go. Francis Burgoyne flat-footed, good enough to get away. Spots a man, Montgomery. This is an important ball to be won. Now Schofield, does he take Pickett on? Then he ducks his head. Simpson was good. Schofield was held up. Pickett comes in hard, maybe over the top then. No free kick. Tell you what, the Kangaroos did well to hold it up.
Yeah, they did too. Looked like Port was away. It was a really good effort from Montgomery to contest that ball, and then also just to put his body in the way of Schofield. A really good, terrific shepherd. And Schofield probably just need to get boot the ball a lot quicker than he did.
Meads, wobbly one. They want the boundary line, Port, and they get it. Well, they're not going to get too many chances, are they? Someone's got to take a mark up forward.
They've really, like, Pedro's really he's had a real bazzer today, hasn't he? Just makes you think if he could have got himself into the game a little bit more, certainly Port would have been a lot closer, or may have even been in front at this stage.
Primus, front spot, well done McCartney, the back. Pushing forward, Calthorpe, Schofield gets it back. He has done very well in the second half. Montgomery, Corns worked under it by Blakey. Good contest, Corns wins it in the end. Little handball to Stevens. Stevens has got some space. Left foot's not going to be a goal. Bouncing ball, Lockwood slips Blakey a bit. Oh, bad bounce perhaps. Blakey will work hard here with Lockwood and force it out. Boundary throw in.
That ball's got helium in it, I think. That's bouncing around out there. But you're right, Pluggett. Maybe, I don't know, you just throw him one out in the goal square and try and manufacture a goal from Treadray, because he's just been all at sea up the ground, and Mickey Martin's had him well covered.
Pagan showing a lot of faith in his experienced defenders to go one-on-one here, isn't he, and hold them up. Good play by Blakey to Martin. Abraham can't quite. Wilson trying to get it out. Motlop over the top. And again a ball up. So it's like we're stuck in a bit of...
Port have certainly had their opportunities. They just haven't been able to finish the work off quite as good as what the Kangaroos have.
Grant back on for Clayton too, and Grant's gone up forward, so look for a bit more zip up there perhaps.
Nick McArdle on the boundary line. McCartney just towards the line. Wilson and Motlop, and forced out of play. Well, it's been untidy, hasn't it? But the conditions have had a lot to do with that. Port have spoiled North's run, and they've done very well in holding them back. But can they produce a killer punch themselves late in the match and snare it off them? It would be a huge upset. Abraham to Bell. Bell running. And that's a great kick and spot to Rawlings. That was really good stuff by Bell.
Well, even though he's had a bad day, Bell, at least in this last quarter, he's continued to work hard. He's laid 2 or 3 terrific tackles down there in the forward line when he was put in the forward pocket, and it's a sign of a very good player. Even when you're having a bad day, you can still have an influence on a game.
Well, this officially would win it, you'd reckon. 7 or 8 minutes, 6, 7 minutes to go. If Rawlings kicks the goal. It's been a tough pocket to goal from. Carey's behind the goals, telling him where to go. Left-hand goal post, the angle. 35 metres out. Oh, jeez, shocker, isn't it?
The wind must be a lot worse, either a lot worse than what we think from up here, or the skill level's been disgraceful. So let's go with the positive and say the wind has obviously had an enormous impact on this game.
Yeah, look at even that kick's a shocker. It fell into Guerra's arms. So Port live again. There's still time for them to kick the 2 or 3 goals they need. Treadray just hasn't been able to mark one. Martin was good, but it's down to Wilson, a left footer. Can he get anything on it? Boots towards the pocket. Now the bounce of the ball's pretty important here. Blakey attacks hard. Oh, he's a good player. Johnny Blakey. That was just what they needed.
He's been fantastic today, Johnny Blakey. He had a little bit of a down patch in a couple of minutes there in the second or third quarter, but he's been one of their better players without question. And Montgomery's gone down. Looks like he hit the deck pretty hard there too. And if he can't get up, he's been one of Port Power's best players today. Just on Treadray too, we have mentioned him, but God, the delivery hasn't been great, Plugger, to the forward line, has it?
No, it certainly hasn't, but I still think he may have been able to present himself a little bit more. Just on a player like Mick Martin, you need to be able to lead on him. He is very strong, and you don't want to get yourself into too much of a wrestling situation with him if you don't have to. Treadray obviously possesses a lot more pace than what you think Mickey Martin had, so the obvious choice would be to lead on him. He just hasn't been able to do that today.
Well, can Port sneak a goal here to keep this game alive in terms of who's going to win? Primus has been terrific. Guerra to Lockwood. Oh, great smother by Blakey. And away goes King. He may come inside here. No, he's gone towards centre wing. Lyle read it best, took a chance, ran off his man Grant, who's had a shocker. The kick by Lyle, not a good kick, and Pickett's onto it. Just had to do more with it then, didn't he?
He had plenty of time, didn't he? He just blazed away.
And now Shannon Grant. Between half-back and centre wing.
This is only his 4th possession, Shannon Grant, so he's had a very quiet day today.
He's only kicked 2 goals in the last 4 matches coming into, which is an ordinary return for him. Bassett's been impressive. They'll be happy with his first game. They've found one, haven't they?
Yeah, he's been a very good player. That's his 11th mark, the young fella. And he's had a big job. He's played on McKernan at different stages in this game and some of the other tall Kangaroos forward, so he can hold his head up very high.
McCartney, Lockwood, Stevens goes for full forward, and it's a shocking result.
He just didn't even appear to look when he came out of the pack there. He had his head down, he had plenty of time, and he really had one thought, and that was to kick the ball at the goals. And there was a leading forward, I think it was Chad Corns leading out. Just got a better effort was needed there by Stevens.
Blakey gets it short. Well, it won't be a long last quarter, that's for sure. With just the 1 goal kicked. Blakey to centre wing. Martin back to Franco, back to Montgomery. There's still time if Port can get a goal out of this forward thrust. Lockwood's got it. Well, this is arguably the most important kick for the match for Port Adelaide.
Yes.
Just gives them a chance, doesn't it, if he goes here?
13 points is the margin, Bruce. If he kicks this and gets down to 7, it's still... Well, let's just hope for his sake and for the Port Power club that he can thread this, because it's a vital goal for him.
It's kick 3. 40 metres out.
Looks pretty good.
It's close.
He's got it.
It's close. Oh, I don't know, Plugger.
No, he's missed.
Yeah, you would think that'd be very hard now. Although that takes the margin back, so it's maybe a handy point. Sounds silly, but it's 2 straight kicks. But it would certainly need to be a goal if Port were to have any chance of winning.
King. Long kick, safety first, wanting a big mark. And McKernan had a couple of cracks. Back to Bassett, gets it inside. Blakey, good, courageous mark.
Just eyes solely for the football. They're going back with the fly of the ball. Well done, Johnny Blakey.
Pike, 3 bounces and a 4th. And comes back inside a bit. No, decides not to. 5 bounces in the end. Floating kick to Carey. Didn't mark it. Paxman back there. Has to get it out. Harvey, who's quick, and so's Grant. They've got a chance here. Harvey working in front. Lyle with him. Harvey runs into Archer. Gets it back to McKernan to Archer. Surely he'll kick a goal. And he does. That is the ball game.
Yes, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. That is the ball game. And well done by Glenn Archer. He's had a bit of a dirty day, but he picked his game up in the third quarter. It's his second goal, running from down back. And as I said with Peter Bell, the champion players will even contribute when they're having a bad day, as with Bell and with Archer as well. Just gets in the way here, keeps on running though. Well done, Glenn Archer. And he's been able to do what other players haven't in this last quarter, and that's to kick a goal.
So Archer's made a very good contribution since half-time. He was out of sorts in the first half, 2 second-half goals. And the Kangaroos are going to come away with the 4 points. They won't get any percentage, and they won't get a lot of satisfaction, I don't think, out of the win. Stevens has kicked Corns outnumbered, and Blakey paid. Well, Carey and King were the best two, I think, from the first three quarters. Blakey's putting his hand up to get a vote at this stage.
Yeah, without question, he's been fantastic.
Especially if his mate Roosie gives them a plugger.
I think he's odds on.
He's a chance, don't worry about that. Francis to Lyle. Braden Lyles kicked to centre half forward. Missed that time. Corns, this if it bounces, no, it's a behind. So Lockwood and Corns between them have kicked 6 goals. Probably could have kicked 9 or 10. That was difficult, that shot, but they've had some chances.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of positives to come out of the game for Port Power. The thing for mine, though, is just those mistakes and those silly, undisciplined free kicks and the shocking turnovers from Mead and Josh Carr when they dropped the mark. Really, those are the things that have separated the two teams today.
Pickett to bring it in. Blakey quickly on to Harvey. Harvey running hard here. Floating kick. Paxman takes a while to find it. Carey all over him there. No free kick. Carey then wants one and it'll be a ball up. He has looked a bit sore, Carey, in this last quarter. Not the sort of day, a good day for any groin soreness or the cold, biting wind coming around you. Primus, Montgomery, just missed his target. Franco's been a battler. Primus to Burgoyne, back to Primus, goes to ground and a bit fortunate there, gets a free kick.
It's a tough decision too, isn't it?
Primus has battled hard too, hasn't he? Particularly in the first half, he was probably Port's best player, but he's really battled hard for his team today.
Well, who's the best ruckman on the field? You wouldn't say Burton or Capuano, would you?
No.
It's been this bloke by a mile. Kicks to half forward. Guerra, first game. Back to Kingsley. Not much room. Just sort of a hoping ball to fall forward. Corns caught underneath it. Lockwood at the back. Stevens, can he get hold of it? One late goal, no. Touched by Motlop. Bell getting back. Kangaroos have got the numbers. It's been the story of the day, hasn't it? Blakey to Bell to Martin. And Mickey's got hold of it at half back. What a great old warhorse he is. 251 games. Probably get to 300, you reckon, Mickey? It's only 31.
Yeah, it'd be a big chance.
Short to Blakey. He must miss you, Plugger.
He visits Plugger down the farm quite regularly down there, Bruce.
Blakey's kicked to centre wing and the mark by Treadray. Well, you wouldn't want the photo for your scrapbook, would you? Treadray's taken a mark late. The ball back to Blakey, and I reckon that's just about it. Put us out of our misery and blow that siren. Thank you. I mean, that's with no disrespect to the players. It's just been that sort of a day. It's been tough.
Been a very tough game and tough conditions, but as a player, you've just got to learn to play in those, Rosie, don't you? And I think Port, as I said, just a few little things that really did cost them, just bad turnovers, bad mistakes, just not able to finish their work off as good as what they would have liked to. And I think as far as the Kangaroos are concerned, it was really just a hard day at the office. They've got the 4 points, all right. They probably would have expected a lot more than what they did, but they've got the 4 points and they've got another win on the board. So I guess it really was just another hard day at the office for them.
Yeah, a lot of times the good teams can win ugly, and that's the difference. The Kangaroos won ugly today, and Port Power put a huge amount of effort in. Their game plan was very sound, coming in with Mark Williams trying to shut down Carey, but just their turnovers really killed them, and their use of the ball in the forward line, and the fact that Treadray just sort of really struggled to have any impact on the game.
Speaking of Carey, he's with Nick McArdle now. Nick.
Yeah, Wayne, tough one. Almost lucky in the end to get away with it.
Yeah, it was tough conditions out here today. It was a bit swirly, but probably a bit better than in Melbourne with those sort of conditions. But, oh no, look, we knew that they were going to come out and have a go today. I mean, you know, they haven't been all that bad. Last week was disappointing for them, but they've been around the mark, and I think, you know, they're a final side last year, and just goes to show that any side in this competition is capable of beating anyone else.
And a win like that, is it almost more a sense of relief, or do you feel quite satisfied that you know you're not playing at your best and you still get away with it?
Oh no, look, we're happy to come up here and grab a win for sure, you know. Like I said, they had nothing to lose today. We had everything to lose, so yeah, we're under a little bit of pressure to win this one, and they played with no pressure at all, and yeah, we're just wrapped to get the win.
And next week, Essendon.
Yeah, big game. Look, they're the form side of the competition, and yeah, it definitely is a big one. It'll be a big game, that's for sure.
Good on you, Wayne. Thanks for joining us, Bruce.
Thanks, Nick, for that. So, just 10 goals. As somebody said at the start of the day that the Kangaroos had only kicked 10, it's Port would have said, gee, we'll take that, won't we?
Yeah, look, I think that's right. I guess the game plan for Mark Williams was to shut down the key players, from which was Bell, Simpson, and didn't really have that much impact. So a lot of the game plan was sound. Harvey was not too bad, but he certainly didn't have the same impact as he normally does. So the game plan probably was carried out to the letter. The problem was, Bruce, they just didn't have enough at the other end of the goal to really, other end of the ground to really hurt the Kangaroos, and once again that was the difference, Plugger.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've seen Wayne Carey, and probably a bit of a quiet day as far as Wayne Carey's standards are concerned. He still kicked 5 goals, had a big influence on. It would have been interesting to see if Treadray from Port could have had the same influence, what the scores would have been.
To really perform. So here we go, the song that we've heard so often, and the Kangaroos win their 8th game for the season. There's Mickey, he's looking as handsome as ever.